Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Burning Shores live stream. So today we are going to be trying to get towards 226 fishing. So we can finally go get the venture unlocked. It's something we've been working towards for a little while now. For one, to transition our ventures there, but also because of the two upcoming quests. We don't know if any of them will be unlocking any of the currently 4 locked venture slots, and just in case they are, figured, well, we might as well get some more venture slots. And one of the easiest way to do that is Fisher, as at 226 we get access to 2 of them simultaneously. Basically meaning we'll have 4 good ones if we want to go and run it. And if one of them doesn't come through on the 2 quests, well, that's not an issue either, because we can just replace the 2 we currently have with the 2 fishing ones, so it ends up working out, as both of them are getting pretty close to their dead end, where mining's nearly all the way there. Detective still has a little ways to go. We technically have to get it all the way to, what do you call it? Probably around like 3:15ish before we could do our next activity. But we could always find other ways around it. Worst comes to worst, we could always thief in this spotting thieves thing, which I was actually doing some earlier because it's so close to the teleport. I was like, you know what, this is actually not that bad. I never really bothered doing spotting thieves because normally you would just raid den, do a little bit of investigations, then raid den. But now that I nerfed raid dens into the ground, I was trying it some, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. When you do it for a long period of time, it's like, oh, this actually evens out to be a not horrifically bad XP rate. It's still better doing raid dens. It's definitely more AFK and everything, but yeah, spotting thieves honestly not horrible. And if on the bright side, you do get profit from it as well, something you don't get when doing raid dens. So if anything, it might actually be a little bit of a benefit then, since even though the XP rate's not the greatest, well, it is for a thief, but you know, you're getting no combat XP during it. But now with raid dens, you're pretty much getting no combat XP either, so it kind of evens out. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be in the game plan with that. Just kind of running that a little bit here and there. Trying to poke to 315 because it might not be running the venture anymore. As you can see, we are currently not doing Puffer Eel. The main reason for this is I did not get 217 yet. At 217, we will be able to go start doing Puffer Eel, but we are not there yet. One more double knowledge and we'll probably be good to go. I think we have like 200 more of these little guys to go and catch, somewhere around there. Accounting for the knowledge that we're going to be getting. So just need to go catch them real quick, and then we'll go to Puffer Eel for pretty much the entire stream. Not sure exactly how long we'll go for, as I'm pretty sure we're not grinding all the way to 226. Otherwise, we will be here literally every second of today. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what our stop goal is. We'll go for some kind of in-between number, though. Probably 222 sounds like a fun number. That we'll probably try going for then, as it seems to be right in the middle of pretty much every number then. And 4 should be pretty easy to go get off stream. And then tomorrow, hey, we can finally start running the venture. I think for now I will be resetting it to the other thing though. But I guess later tonight we'll go set it up, as we should definitely 100% within like 12.5 hours from now have that fishing level. I sure hope so. There is actually a chance we don't, as we'd still have to gain 10 levels within that time, technically 9.5. And we're gaining slightly less than a level per hour. However, Puffer Eel is quite a bit quicker compared to what we're doing now. Not just in the base XP rate of if we were just doing literally puffer only, but also because we're doing fishing into fishing, whereas right now we're doing fishing into a small amount of foraging, which is quite a bit worse XP compared to, you know, all-in fisher comparatively. So it is like 10-20% better on top of already being 10-20% better. So yeah, levels will start rolling in quicker, and of course the entire time I will be dumping knowledge into Fisher. Honestly, at that one level range, it might almost be better not to, but I probably still will, just so we can start getting the venture rolling already. The only big issue I could see is I don't have enough money to go upgrade the net. I think we need like 28 gold to get to level 25. And one problem with that is we don't have 28 gold. We have 12.5. We're not even halfway there. However, while doing Puffer Eel, we will be getting quite a bit of profit the entire time. So that will hopefully be enough to get us a little bit closer compared to before. Actually, how much is it? Let me go double check on the wiki real quick. I want to check something. How much is a pufferfish? It doesn't really matter too much the eel is. We could just assume it's slightly less. But, oh, never mind. We're already on the fishing page. Huge. So we can even see the XP difference between Mana Ray and this as well. Nice, nice. So we are currently where? We are here. This is our new XP rate, not counting the eels. And yeah, they sell for 1.8 each. Which doesn't sound like a lot because it's not, but this at 1.8 combined with the other thing at 1.5, that's a lot more than 0. That is a lot more than 0 because every single one of these we drop are basically 0. They save us like 9.5 silver whenever we bank them. However, when they're dropped on the ground, they are 0 silver each compared to pufferfish, which will be 1.8 each, which, you know, when you put it that way, it sounds a lot better. We do have to go slightly out of our way to go cash them in, but the few steps we have to take is definitely worth it for the little bit of money back that we end up getting. And it's pretty much what would happen whenever if there are ever runners in this game for various resources. It'll be like the same kind of premise. Like you would sell this to someone for like 1.5, 2 silver each, and then they would go and bank them and then keep doing that over and over and over again, so that they could sell it to other players for a profit, or in some cases even to sell it to the shop depending on what sell price is. Because I think this thing cooked is worth like 4 silver, 3 silver, somewhere around there, when the thing's actually cooked. Alright, I'll go drop all this. But yeah, half a level to go, and then we'll just start puffer eeling then. Also, I should probably go do our cooking contracts. We'll do that after, probably our ventures, because we got to go do those in 20 minutes. So unfortunately, we got to leave this area and go head over there then, but that's fine. That should be a good deal. How are our cooking ventures doing? Oh good, I did get rid of all the sentinel. I actually had a 6 sentinel earlier. I have no clue how. But I had like a triple or quad on the board, while also having pretty much every single one here set to it. And at some point, we end up getting 6 all to the same location at the really high value point, which was really, really solid. I did actually just finish those though. So it looks like we have double Southfall and the Cohen right now, which is fine. Not the best route, not the best for EXP, but far from the worst, so not horrible. I should probably be using EXP pots so we don't have to be here as long. Go, 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 go! But yeah, I was hoping to have it done before the stream. Gosh, I did not have that much time this morning. Actually, we even started a little bit later than normal. But for now, we'll keep going. Oh, so that person from yesterday's still here, by the way. They are still here. They have taken breaks, though. They haven't been here the whole time. I should say, what's our ratio of EXP? It looks like we both gained about the same amount of levels by the end. We were more efficient at some times, but they were here apparently for more time then. But it could also be the level range kind of difference, because they're at a level range where it's probably deader to do compared to our level range. So we're at a pretty dead level range right now. We're at the worst level to be doing what we're doing right now, just because we don't currently have a better option, so we're kind of stuck on these. But yeah, let's see. They gained 10 levels. Did we gain 10 levels yesterday? We're slacking. I don't think we gained 10 levels yesterday. What did we start at yesterday? I don't remember. Because, yeah, they were at 1999 when we were at, like, 206 or 207. Which means, yeah, we both gained basically the exact same amount of levels then. Which makes sense, because we've both been here about the same amount of time. They do have that 5% rod, though. We don't get that till, I think, level 310. So one of the other reasons for running the ventures, too, we don't even have maximum EXP rate yet. We're getting there, though. We're close. We're close. Not quite all the way there yet, though. But we're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, also, as you can see, no new quests today. They haven't made any mention of it either. They were teasing the Easter thing the other day. So that's kind of around the corner. Probably in about a month from now, a few weeks from now. But no word on a new quest yet, which I'm kind of surprised. Because they have the ability to release it literally any day now. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't at least posted a teaser or something on it. Like, oh, here's one of the things. What does this mean? You know what teaser screenshot they would definitely do, though, if they were to do one? They're going to do one of equipable potion storage. He's going to do that, like, the day or the night beforehand. He's just going to post, like, a random image of what the tool belt looks like after the quest. Or something like that. I can definitely see that happening. And then the next day, boom, we get the quest. Hopefully I'll have something on it soon. Because they already confirmed it's 100% done. They can literally release it whenever they want. They're holding out on us. I don't know, maybe they're waiting a full week until after the merge. How long has it been? What day was the merge last week? Might be waiting for exactly a week, but I could have sworn, wasn't it on like Wednesday last week? Let me double check. When was the merge update? The merge update was... That's OBS. That's what I'm looking for. The merge update was... Not that one. The 7th. Oh no, that's a small patch note. Wait, where's the... Small update, small update. Did they not make a mega one? Wait, I'm so confused. Why are both of these the small update? Where was the really big one? There it is. Combat Rework Phase 1 launch. There it is. That's weird. Why doesn't the Steam page show the bigger thing for it? It's kind of funny. It shows all the smaller updates, but they forgot to add it for the mega update. That's really weird. But there it is. It was on the 6th. So that means tomorrow would be the 1 week mark. So if they're trying to pace themselves, then yeah, it would be tomorrow then. Tomorrow's 1 week since they've done their last major thingy. I'll find out tomorrow. But yeah, tomorrow will be the 1 week mark of Combat Merge. Because obviously they don't want to release like huge content too close to huge content, I guess. You gotta pace what little bit they have. Alright, this next double meter should hopefully, fingers crossed, be enough. Hard to tell though. Let's see. We're getting what, 4,000 per fish. Let's do some quick maths. Each time we use a knowledge point, it saves us from catching about 40 fish. We need that many more. Minus like 320,000. So we need 520-ish thousand. Which is 130-ish fish. Alright, let's get to it. We got about 130 manta rays to go. Roughly. Based on quick maths. Accounting for both knowledge points. That we get at 100 or 200% meter there. And then we can go do puffer eel. Yeah, how's the leaderboard looking? We are still a mile behind. You know what keeps doing it, I believe? Mondays. I'm always a lot busier on Mondays compared to any other day. And every single time a Monday goes by, you can like visibly see how far we fall behind. Because every single time it's like, oh, several levels, then several levels again, then several levels again. Because generally speaking, the average Monday these days, I probably play Brighter Shores for like 3 to 5 hours. Compared to the average day where it's probably like 12 plus hours, even if it's not all streamed. So we fall behind like a good 6 to 9 hours every Monday. But I'm not in a race for anything though. We've got all levels when we need it. Though I do want to focus on these because I'm trying to do it for the next update. A lot of things that we're grinding for in the near future are because of an upcoming update. Like right now I'm trying to, in case they add more venture slots, prep ourselves so we have the ability to do good ventures for additional venture slots. So I'm making sure to preemptively have that ready. In case they do something with that. After that, it's basically combat merge rework prep. Which basically means Mines of Matubin time! A little bit in Hope Forest too, but mostly Mines of Matubin. Trying to get all that prepped for the big combat merge, special attack weapons, 4-star weapons, all that kind of stuff. Combat tree. But beyond that, it's Stonewall Hill prep then. Stonewall Hill prep is interesting. There's a couple angles you could do for it. One, if you have like near infinite cash already. Or depending on other grinds you've already done, is 500 alchemy. The 8% and 10% potions for that area are really, really, really deep into alchemy. And by very, very deep, I mean you literally have to go get 500 to go make them properly. If you want to go get the 10% and everything. That's one angle for it. The other angle, and probably more realistic angle, because there's a lot of different numbers you can do for it, is get Merchant Leatherworker up. We know both of them are going to be used for Armor Maker. Well, more so, Leatherworker. But you need the merchant discount. So working on merchant leatherworker just to be higher than whatever you have now is probably the best way to prep for Chapter 5 if you want to prep for Chapter 5. Not only would you get a bunch of money from it, but you'd bank a bunch of leather that you need in order to actually make the armor. There are other skills that you'll likely be using for it, like Bone Wright, Blacksmith, Stonemason, as well as all the corresponding things to go get that material. Delver as well for making Guardian armor, even something else that we're not aware of. But for the most part, right now, the best way to prep for it would be Merchant Leatherworker. Getting both of those to like 200, 300, 400 max. Any of the numbers. Anything higher than what you have now would help. Though it's important to bank the leather though, because not banking the leather doesn't really help. I guess it can in the sense that you can go make it on the fly. But it's a lot easier if you just already have it in your bank ready to go. And I've been seeing some people actually doing that too. Some people with 500 Leatherworker are still doing Leatherworker. And some of them are selling it for profit, but some of them are doing it to try to be the first person to 500 Armor Maker. Which is definitely not something we're going to bother with. Is it basically requires having 500 merchant and 500 leatherworker, and then also doing post 500 to make sure you have enough material for everything. But there are some people actually doing that right now, who have like thousands of stacks of every leather and everything. I believe most of the people who are doing that are all the people who like rushed 500 leatherworker. It's like, ooh, might as well go for the double leaderboard. If we got top 10 leatherworker, might as well also get top 10 armor maker. Which makes sense. If you're doing one, might as well do the other. As you're already more than halfway there. It would be like if you already had 500 carpenter and woodcutting going into like bone right or something. Like you're pretty much already there. You already got half the material you're ever going to need. Also, we still have not gained that forager level, by the way. That poor forager level. You know how long we've been teasing the level 207 on that bar? It has just been slowly poking its way up every single time. That's kind of sad. At some point, I assure you, it will get there. It will indeed get to 207. And technically we need 209, but it will eventually get to 207. I think every single day for the last week or two, I've gained some amount of Forager XP because I would always grab like a little bit of the Blood Nettle whenever doing like a cooking contract or something. And after all this time, we still do not have the level. And of course, we're grabbing a little bit of limpets here and there. I was doing potato before earlier, but I kind of ditched them just for the knowledge on the limpets. Limpets aren't as good XP, but they make it so you never miss a fishing cycle. So I've been going with them to maximize fishing XP. The other way would give us a little bit more foraging XP, but the same amount of knowledge, so it doesn't really matter too much. So we're mostly after it for the fishing XP, of course. So that we can finally go get to the puffer eel already. As we're still not there. We're almost there, though. This point's probably less than 100 mana rays. 6 at a time. Too bad they don't spawn quicker. There's one thing that's kind of interesting. Not fishing. Woodcutting is the only skill that's like that has like a weird spawn timer compared to every other skill in the game. It actually spawns really quick compared to the average resource. Yeah, drop all these, drop all those. 2 more inventories and we could use our 10% potion. And that 10% potion is going to get us so close to 217. And then we can start doing puffer eel the rest of the stream. Not sure what our end goal is. I feel like 222 sounds like a good number, though. Oh, so hello, MK Jets. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Mark. Welcome. Hope everyone's been doing well. Thanks for stopping by. As well as everyone else lurking in the background. Welcome. Hope you've been having a wonderful Wednesday. But yeah, fishing today. Lots of spear fishing. But after today, I don't think we ever have to do fishing for a very long time. This is probably the last time we have to do it for months. Not counting the venture. But not counting the venture, this is the last time we're doing fishing for probably 2 months? 3 months? Unless they buff fishing and cooking randomly out of nowhere. Like if we finally get the patch that ends up buffing them or something. But assuming the game stays exactly as is for fishing and cooking... Yeah, I think this is the last time we really have to do it for quite a while, especially if I'm skipping cod and chips. As the next time I would even need to touch a fish for cooking would be Grenard at 261 if I'm skipping the 208 chef item, which I'm considering doing. I'm not sure. I might grab a few in case there's like a task that's really good that only requires a very low amount. But I'm definitely not doing like a 9 or an 8 or honestly even a 5 for cod and chips. It's just too many. It's actually the potato that's more the limiting factor, oddly enough, not the cod. And whenever we do end up doing, like, cod into racks, we're doing it purely for the racks. I'm just going to drop all the cods to the ground. Or at least most of the cod to the ground. Kind of like what we're doing with the mana ray. Actually, I do bank some of the mana rays. The only time I ever bank them is if I'm going to go check a cooking contract. For example, in exactly 5 minutes and 43 seconds from now. But aside from that, I pretty much never bother. I just realized I'm not going to get meter up in time, am I? That's not ideal. I'm not going to be able to get 200% meter by the time we need to go teleport over there. But yeah, after we do the fishing grind, what is our next pivot? Well, our next pivot is probably the first quest. The first quest is very likely to be, or the first new quest is likely to pivot us in some direction. Obviously, we already have all the rewards you could possibly need from it, or, you know, all the requirements for it. Like, it could tell you literally to go get, like, 7 200s and, like, need 1 billion knowledge points or something. It's not going to. But, you know, it could have the most absurd requirement ever, and we already have everything good to go. The problem is, or not the problem, but the, whatever it is would probably hard pivot us. Like, if it's a equipable potion, that would bring us in one direction. If it's some kind of new skilling activity, we'd probably be doing that heavily for that skill. There's a lot of things there. If it's a new area expansion kind of thing, we'd probably, you know, do a bunch of stuff with that new area thing. So it really depends. But aside from whatever pivot that ends up pivoting us in, honestly, I'm considering going back to the Mines of Matubin. It's something we've been mentioning a lot that I still haven't done yet. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is I've been waiting for the mining venture to bring us closer to 262 so I can finally start mining a real rock that we actually need again. The other issue is I'm currently locked out of stonemason until we have 233. Like, I basically can't do anything but dump knowledge into it and do the passive until we have 233. And I wanted to wait to dump knowledge into it until we had at least 220. Because that's when the good venture stops. So I wanted to mostly get it through the daily venture. Like, every single day for, like, the last, what, week or so, I've been doing this stonemason AFK. Probably for a little over a week. Probably almost, like, 10 days now. We've been doing this stonemason AFK. And eventually we'll be at 220, where we're forced to have to do a much worse one. And my plan at that point was that is when we go back to Mines of Matubin. It's when we have 220 stonemason, which we're really close. We're 2 days away. Which means this weekend. This weekend we can actually go start heading back to the mines then, unless a different patch pivots us in a different way. But assuming no patch pivots us in any weird way, it's probably the game plan then. As everything will finally be aligned to go do what we want to go do with it. That is the game plan. Right, how much time is on the thing? Okay, I think we have enough time to go set everything up then. Let's go do it right now. We'll drop these, pick up the mana ray, teleport over. That should be everything we need. Drop all that, take all that, teleport over to Hopeport. Go get our cooking contract, go get all of our potions we need. Which should only be 2. Oh, I just realized I'm going to be putting this into stonemason, aren't I? No! I'm not going. Do I? Oh, no. I always feel like it's a waste whenever you use a 7% while having a knowledge there to not put it into stonemason. To stonemason or not to stonemason? Honestly, I'm considering still stonemasoning it. Let's see what we have here. What time is it? It's not close enough to a double reset. I'd have to wait here for like 12 minutes. Not worth. You know what else is not worth? Doing any of these. No, there's a couple that are not horrible here. Mostly these two. Alright, put away all this junk. Grab the 2 potions we need, and we're out here. I know the alchemy place is almost empty. Where is everyone this time of day? Alright, let's see. We'll grab this. Almost down to 800. Oh no, we've almost gone to like 200 something of them. Oh no. That only took like a month or so. We're gonna run out. We're gonna run out. Even though I'm barely using them, we're gonna run out. Alright, let's go to Chronopolis. Oh yeah, not outskirts, but oh yeah, this is the spotting thief spot, by the way. Since we have a little bit of time to kill anyways. But right over here is where I've been doing it some. We actually gained a level earlier from it. While I was waiting for the venture to finish after like 10 more minutes. Also, BTS has been doing a lot of merchant recently. Alright, so that person's leaving, so we just talk to him. Get him, boom, free money. Yeah, just keep doing that. Just wait till someone tries sleeving here. Poke them. Rinse, repeat. Do you want a thief so we can get one more? Yeah, there you go. Alright, we're out here. Oh, unless you want to go thief. Nope. You're going the right way. Some of them are easy to tell beforehand than compared to others, as far as locations. Because how wide they go or not. Like this one. Up, up, up. Up that one as well. They can kind of tell before they get there based on where their final destination is. Okay, if we can ever stop getting a thieving chain, I'm gonna go and turn this in. But there's too many thieves. I'm on like a 4-person chain right now. I'm trying to leave. It's giving me too much XP. Alright, good. I can finally leave now. Alright, we're out of here. But you keep doing that over and over again. We get quite a bit of money from it, too. Like, each thief that we're getting there was like, what, like 6-ish silver? Somewhere around there? It's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Oh yeah, we could have kept doing that until we had a knowledge point. Oh yeah, speaking of which, that's the poll for today, by the way. Which venture do you tend to do the most? There are currently 4 venture types in the game. Detective, which is this one right here. Mining, which is the one that we're about to head to. Merchant, which are a bunch of them where you can spend some money to get a bunch of our various resources. The brick and tile one probably being pretty good once it comes out. Though currently does not exist. Oops, wrong teleport. And of course the mining one that we're heading to now where you get all like the blast mine material and just free mining XP. Which reminds me, we have like almost 1,500 blast material now. It's actually a pretty hefty stack now. We're doing pretty good on it. But at some point we'll be able to go use it. It's unfortunate because I don't think we could use it till like level 300 something. Oh, the wrong direction. I'm trying to go down, not up. Yeah, we can start using it at... Where's Deathstone? 348. Even though you start accumulating at 231. Wow, we're still a ways away from that. Even once we start doing mining, we're still going to be a ways away from that. Even once we get back into the mining grind. Ah, there we go. Come on. 3 1/4 level to go. We're nearly there. Alright, you know I gotta put this on stonemason. We got the potion already running. As much as I want to put it on fishing right now. That is the one and only point that is not going on fishing all day. And now over the next 12 hours, I need to go get 226 fisher by any means possible. So we gotta gain 10 levels, or 9 1/4. Is that doable? It should be. Are we doing that all on stream? No. But we will be here for a little while trying to grind towards it. And then going into tomorrow, we'll finally have our goal achieved then. Alright, we have 7 minutes until the next chef thingy. Do I bother staying here? I don't think it's worth it. Though, one thing I could do, though, I guess, is let me go turn some of these in while we're going down there. Scrap Merchant's pretty free. Little Lucy's pretty free. Yeah, I could even do a Cohen if I wanted, though I don't have synergy on it, so I'll just do the other two real quick. And by synergy, I mean, I don't have a way of crafting it while doing the other item. You're still on Grapes Venture. Been banking the grapes, but probably should just sell them. Don't think people will waste time to actually make potions. At that low of a level 1, potentially not. When it comes to most alchemy supplies, when it comes to like those potions, it's the 8% and 10% that are really important. 7% are kind of in a weird in-between, but they're only really used pre-200. But the 8% supplies and 10% supplies are going to be used a lot in the current state of the game and later down the line. So anything related to those are probably worth it. Any of the lower tier stuff, probably not. Like the lowest tier grape, second lowest tier grape, probably not that needed most of the time. Alright, let me go grab these two. Oh no, we're almost out of the bass. Should probably go get some more to drop the bass. Alright, we got 6 of these, and I just need 3 of the little Lucy supplies. Which is 3 of you. I think I put one of these in the thumbnail. I was looking at the different designs for all the leek pies. And gosh, some of them do actually look pretty good. And I was looking at all of them, and honestly, the design for this leek pie actually looks better than the max level leek pie. Because I was looking up at all of them, but the max one is just way too drippy. It actually looks worse than this one. Like, this one is slightly drippy, but like a reasonable amount. We can go see it once we go cook this right here. Like, it has a little bit of drippage, but it's not like oozing out. Like, just enough right there. And it has still like the nice fine looking crust. The problem with the really high tier one is it looks like it's melting. It's almost like a puddle around it with how much it's oozing. Like it's oozing to a detrimental degree. Or it just has like just the right amount of ooze. Or it's like a realistic amount. The other one's almost like swimming in a puddle of excess pie. Oh, we're gonna gain a cooking level from this as well. And we're off. So where am I bringing either of these two? Little Lucy and Scrap Merchant. What's that icky paint-like goop? I don't know, has anyone had this before? I have never had this before. Chicken and leek pie? Is that like a British thing or a UK thing or something? I have never had that before. I've had a couple things that are kind of like this, like a quiche. Like, I feel like a quiche would taste kind of similar to that. But I've never had a chicken and leek pie. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I've even had a leek before. I've had things that are, like, leek adjacent. But I don't think I've ever had, like, an actual leek. The guy is called the Squeak and he's next to the rat. Oh, that's funny. Like, there's a bunch of scrap rats and he's called the Squeak. Oh, that's really funny. He's found his home. The Rat King is here. The Squeak is among his people. Alright, can we finally finish Puffer Eel now? Or, I mean, not Puffer Eel. I mean, Manta Ray, so we can go do Puffer Eel. Because we've been stuck here for like 2 to 3 days now. Actually, it's more been closer to 2. I guess I did slightly poke at it the night before, though. I don't know, it's not too bad for where we are in the game right now. 2 days for a grind. There's definitely some grinds out there that are measured in weeks to months. So 2 days isn't too bad, actually. We're on the adventure to try to finally finish this venture. We're on the venture. Or the venture adventure. Once we're done with that, we're ready to basically hit every venture goal we need to go do in the near future. The next really big stretch goal would be 380 mining. And I wish that was a joke, but that might actually be one of our upcoming grinds. Well, it's because we need 500 and 380 is actually a realistic number. Obviously, there'll be milestones along the way, like the 346 pickaxe and every single different ore and stone along the way. Obviously, we're not doing it all in one go. There's a lot of ways we could break it down into multiple, more digestible pieces. But honestly, our next like midterm goal, honestly, after 226 fishing, as well as whatever we need to do for the 2 quests, is honestly probably 380 mining. It's something we've been neglecting for a while. We got a level 35 pickaxe to go do it with. We have more 5% potions than we know what to ever do. I think we have like 12,000. In all fairness, we do need like 30,000 or something. But when it comes to just mining, getting it to 500, we have every 5% pot we would ever need for 500 mining. While also having 7% the entire time as well, to dump into stonemason or bonerite or whatever we're dumping into at the time. Even smithing, depending on the dead zone. But I believe the next pivot is slowly working towards 500 mining, smithing, stonemason. Not all at once, obviously. Broken down into many pieces. Now that I think about it, I don't think a single person has actually done that grind yet. There are some people close. I don't think there's any person in the game right now that simultaneously has 500 mining and 500 smithing and 500 stonemason right now. There are a few people who are really, really, really close though. Let's see. 500 mining. Nope, not 500 smithing, and nope, not 500 stonemason. So rank 1 Mines of Matubin doesn't have it. Now let's see the next person. So if rank 1 doesn't have it, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people don't. Let's see. Let me go check the other one. Red Bean. I know he's always here. Nope. He doesn't have 500 mining, nor 500 smithing, nor 500 stonemason. He has a lot more bone right though. He's working pretty heavily on that bone right. But yeah, I don't think there's a single person in the game with it at the moment. Mostly because it takes forever. It's one of the slowest grinds in the game. Honestly, I think 500 woodcutting carpenter into bone right is actually quicker. It is actually such a long grind doing the other 3. Mostly due to smithing. Smithing's a really weird one. Mostly because his AFK activities are so much worse. They also pretty heavily nerfed the profit of how much you can make from production skills with the most recent patch. I also plan to keep almost all my bars for 2 reasons. One is if the bars and stones are used for armor maker, I want to have them for armor maker. But the other reason is I want them for weapons. So I don't actually plan to make product out of anything we smith or etch or dunk. I'm going to be keeping them. Either for future 4-star weapons or to sell in the market or for armor maker. But I don't actually plan to use them. Which means all of our EXP that's going to be coming in is only from the actual processing of getting them to their second to last step of the product. Like the bar, the etched stone, stuff like that. So we're going to be getting even less EXP. Which means by the time we have 500 mining, we probably barely even have like 400. But in all fairness, that's all we need is 400. Actually don't need higher than that. At least not until Stonewall Hill. But pre-Stonewall Hill, that's 2,000 the highest you can even use. So that is making the bold assumption we're actually going to train combat. You're still on 50k flint now? Oh gosh. Wait, already processed flint or still to be processed? Because oh gosh, good luck. That will take forever and a half. That's the only thing I'm not really looking forward to from it, but honestly it's kind of AFK if nothing else. Especially since queuable action. It's something that's decently infinitely repeatable. Like if we ever need an AFK activity while doing something else. Actually, I didn't even think about that. Instead of doing cooking AFK, I can actually do a mining smithing AFK. Well, more so the smithing part. Ooh, I didn't think about that. If I bank like 10... Actually, I need more than 10,000. If I somehow bank like 30,000 Flatinium in the next 2 weeks after we go finish the fishing grind today. Ooh. Wait, that might be the pivot. While doing Xenoblade Chronicles X, I can go smith like 30,000 plus Flatiniums. And have like an infinite supply of Flatinium. It really comes down to how much do we want to pivot to Granite. Granite is superior, but I'm not sure what kind of rotation I want to do while doing Flatinium. It really comes down to if we have a equipable potion by then or not. Because the way that I kind of want to do it, even once we get there, is Flatinium only. But then when I have 278, do Flatinium into 4 Granite. Or initially we do the 520 method, or sorry, 620 method. Where we do 6 sets of 20, so we can do 5 sets to bank without wasting any inventory. So we'll do 620 method, but then after 620 method, once we get to 278 miner, I think I would just do 20 Flatinium into 4 Granite. Assuming a equipable potion is out by then, hopefully, fingers crossed. Because that way we're still getting the extra benefit from Granite, but we're not having to do a weird juggle method the whole time. Because initially we're going to have to do the weird juggle method the whole time. But we only have to do that until we get to Granite level. When the Granite's actually worth touching again. Because I don't plan to bank that much Granite. We will be getting some, but I don't plan to get a lot of it. The only big issue with that is Granite's way better EXP. Like, we go check the EXP page for it real quick. It is way better. Let's go check. Oh no, bring me to a new pet tab. No, not all the way over there. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you do that? Alright, what am I looking for? I'm looking for minor. I want to see something real quick. How bad? I know it's worse, but how much worse is Flatinium compared to Granite? I know the answer is a lot. I just want to see the actual number. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's a problem. I see the problem now. The bank distance. Like, this is what it is scrapped. It's like, yeah, that looks normal. This is what it is when it's not scrapped. It is actually worse than doing andesite. It is so bad. Is Flatinium really that far from a bank? I feel like that can't possibly be true. Is it really that much worse? Like, yeah, it's a little farther. Is it that much farther than andesite from a bank? That andesite is better EXP rate? Because that's kind of crazy if so. I forgot about that. Like, the EXP discrepancy between them is barely anything. But I don't know, is it that bad? I know for sure they're not doing 26 methods, so they're accounting for doing it one at a time. I think that's the biggest issue, because Carbonese was way off because of that too. Because the wiki doesn't assume 26, they're assuming you're doing like 20 at a time or something, or whatever they're doing. Or they're doing something even worse, where they're doing like 24 at a time, which is horrible if you're not doing any drop with it. So maybe that's why their numbers seem so skewed. Because they're not doing any kind of weird method. They're just simply mining 24 and then banking it or something. Which is not how you're supposed to mine them. Like, at all. So all the numbers are really skewed on the wiki downwards. Like, yes, it is worse. But the wiki makes it look a lot worse than it actually is. Because assumably there's mining 24 at a time, which is not how you're supposed to do that rock. Because they spawn 10 at a time. So waiting for that extra 4 is really bad value. Which is why their values look so bad. As hello, Huckleberry! Welcome, welcome. Basically, when it comes to every 10 rock, we gotta test it ourselves. Whatever they mentioned for every stone should be pretty accurate. But anything that's ever mentioned for a 10 rock, like iron, Flatinium, stuff like that, we gotta test ourselves. Both iron and Carbonese were off by a lot, and Flatinium looks like it is too. Aether might be a little bit closer, though. The way I plan to do Aether is I do plan to smith it immediately. I don't even want it touching my bank. It's not the way I did it last time, but I kind of want to do it this time around. Just so we don't have like a super overwhelming pile later down the line. But also because of how far it is from the bank. But when we do Aether, I'm actually going to be smithing it immediately and then just banking the bars into the smithing bank thing. Like, the ore will never touch our bank. It's simply we're just going to mine the ore, then smith it, then put the bars in the bank and repeat. I'm actually never going to let the ore touch the bank. I would need to double check the tiles, but I believe it's better that way. It's slower for mining XP, obviously, because you're smithing it the entire time. But I believe it's better overall XP if you count the total tiles for both activities combined, compared to doing them separately. What's my opinion on knowledge in combat? Larger level, bigger EXP drop? When it comes to combat, you shouldn't be doing any passive activity until 800. Any passive pre-800 is really bad for combat. Beyond that, then it starts getting really good. But beyond that, it's in a little bit of a weird in-between. Because it takes a very, very, very long time to get up. Like, in the time that you would get 300 levels from 800 to 1100 if you were to passive that the whole time, you could have gotten a production skill from like 200 to max, like literally 500. In the exact same time you would have gotten like 300 combat levels, because I don't think it scales differently. Like, there's so many better things that you could be putting it into in the current state of the game. As far as knowledge points directly into it, I feel like it's not worth it. Unless you're really close to a bunch of gear upgrades that you really need. Like if you're fighting an enemy and you have like 1 level to go and to be able to equip like 5 different items or something. Maybe it'll be worth it then. But I would say generally you shouldn't be putting knowledge into combat. There's going to be a lot of ways to earn combat XP in the future. Probably most notably bossing in the future. as most other skills probably aren't getting too many new methods overall. Whereas combat will probably have like 100 new methods by like 5 years from now. As every single boss would be a new training method, every single, you know, basically new enemy ever is essentially a new training method. Like, it might not be good EXP rate, but if you already have to kill them for some kind of drop or something similar, then, you know, you're getting a bunch of free combat along the way. Whereas there's a lot of other skills where you're just not going to be getting free XP for in the same way. Unless they do a lot of multi-skilling with bosses. It's something they did mention in the past. But that's something we don't really know how it's going to work. Like, for example, the one from Chapter 2 where you have to go repair the boat. That might eventually be a boss fight where you gain carpentry XP while gaining combat XP. We just don't know exactly what the ratio of XP would be. Like, how much combat XP are you gaining relative to carpentry XP? But, I don't know, there's just a lot we just don't know with it at the moment. But long story short, no. I wouldn't really advise putting knowledge in the short term into combat. And if you're going to be using the passive activity, you have to be post 800, otherwise it's not worth it. Like, the first one that's worth it is the Giant Ant at 802. You shouldn't be doing anything lower than that. I guess the first activity for combat that you can properly do the passive for. Alright, we're almost there. Is this it? I think this is it. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. Yeah, we got it. Puffer eel time. Finally. Only took like an hour on stream to get, but there we go. Alright, let's go head over. It's done. Alright, we're out of here. Oh, I probably should have used up more of this 10% pot. Whoops. Quick, start cooking, start cooking. Oh no, I used a 10% pot and now I'm not utilizing it for anything. Quick, go do some alchemy. Go, go, go. Probably should be using this value. Oh, you know what we can go do real quick? Wait, wait, wait. I got a plan, I got a plan. Let me go get the first time bonus for pufferfish real quick. Wait, wait, wait. I think we can make it in time. We got this, we got this. We got a minute. I think we can make it. I'm gonna go check all of our cooking contract, click everything that doesn't look awful, and then head quickly to pufferfish so I can use the 10% on the pufferfish. Go, 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 go! Anything good here? Anything good here? Cohen, good enough. Scrap merchant, good enough. Sentry, amazing. Huge. Alright, put all this away. Go, 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 go. We got a minute to get there. Go, go, go. I think we're fine. Gotta make there in time to get the first time bonus on pufferfish. Gotta get some value from this 10%. Like, I think we'll make it in time. Oh yeah, we're fine. We have 40 seconds. It's like 20 seconds away. Oh, so hello, the big wee woo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. Alright, should be good to go. Alright, we have finally returned. We can start training fishing again. We're at the glorious puffer eel. There's the first time bonus. Nice. Oh, that's so much better. How much were we getting before? Oh, though this is 10% boosted, so it's a little bit biased. Never mind. I was gonna say, wow, these are a lot better. I forgot. We have a 10% potion going right now. They're not that much better. We went from like 4k per piece to like 4.4k. So we're getting like 400 more XP per fish. However, the real benefit is this. Well, two things. One is we can grab 3 eels. Whereas before we would have gained like, what, 2,000, maybe 4,000 at best forager XP. Now that 2 or 4,000 forager XP is replaced by 9,000 fishing XP. That is so good. And the other good thing is we can go sell everything. The pufferfish are worth 1.85, and the other one is per 1.6. So on average, we're getting like, what, 1.8-ish each? Since we're not getting as good of a ratio of eels. But it's not too bad. But let's even just say 1.7. We're getting 1.7 per on average per every single fish we catch. Which sounds slightly bad, but that is way better than 0. 1.7 is way better than 0. And this is great because you know what I'm putting all this money into? The fishing venture. I'm going to be upgrading our cast net thing. I got to make sure I do the right one. The oyster net. We're going to upgrade the oyster net and go throw it onto the venture then. So whenever we do the venture, we'll get like 20% more XP or whatever it is. Actually, what is the percent? No, it's 10%. I think it's 10% more. We can find a random tool. Isn't it 10%? I don't remember now. Somewhere's around there. Yeah, 10% bonus. It's still a lot, though. 10% on a venture compared to 0% bonus. It is currently the only venture in the game that can be boosted. Oh, what was that? 31 silver? That's not bad at all. But every single time we do that, instead of dropping, we get like 31-ish silver, give or take a little. Not bad at all. So one thing interesting about these rooms, even though they're separated into two different categories, they do all share the same timer. So when you grab one, you're already doing both. But yeah, we're basically stuck at Puffer Eel until we get our level done. Now the question is, do we keep dumping into Fissure or put into something else? I'm so tempted to keep still putting into Fissure. Just so we can get those ventures rolling in case the update is tomorrow. Because we'll have it done by tonight. Even though we won't have it done by the end of the stream, we will have it done tonight, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Because ideally, regardless of how we split it up, we got to try to finish it within 11 hours and 35 minutes from now. And what's great about the Oyster Venture, too, is you only have to check it once a day rather than twice. Which also means you only have to pot up for it once per day rather than twice. And if you're doing double of it, they're both right next to each other, so you don't even need two different potions. So instead of wasting two 5% every single day for Chronopolis and two 7% for Mines of Matubin, we now just simply, per day, need to use one single 10% for Hopeport. Which overall is way cheaper. Especially with the new pricing. One 10% for Hopeport is substantially cheaper than two 5% for Chapter 4 and two 7% for Chapter 3. Too many numbers. I'm trying to think of the numbers. Too many to say in one sentence. 2 7% for Chapter 3. 273. So I wonder if we can find anyone else trying to max Hopeport these days. One of them has to be doing Puffer Eel. Let's see, how's the Hopeport leaderboards looking like? Small, we already saw last time we were doing Puffle Eel. They have since maxed, so they're no longer around. Clayton I've seen quite a few times in a Mega Raxor or Haxorus recently. Isn't that a Pokemon name? It sounds like a Pokemon name from one of the Mega Evolutions I never played. And Shore Central's doing pretty good. He's in 7th right now. He's getting there. Oh, even Valerie's on it. I think she went for 500 Fissure and then was like, oh, might as well just do all of them. She started... Oh, wait, that person... Wait. Who is that number person? We just saw someone there. Wait, what category was I in? That one number 7 person we saw earlier was... There they are. I didn't even realize that. They're number 6. The person who we saw fishing with us the last 2 days at Manta Ray. Yeah, they're rank 6. I never even noticed that. I haven't actually seen them around that much compared to like Clayton and quite a few others in this area. Like the last 2 days was the first time we ever seen them. Oh, we've seen them a lot the last few days. I didn't realize they were actually rank 6 Hopeport. So generally speaking, if you're training fishing that high, you probably are. I feel like anyone training fishing above like 300 is probably a Hopeport main. Because if you're evenly distributing or doing like any other combination of chapters, you're probably not going that high. Like basically anyone you see with a golden fishing rod is probably a Hopeport main. Generally speaking. Almost no one otherwise would be doing that grind. Or at least not that high. There's one good identifier of someone who's pretty much only doing Hopeport. Is if they have a gold fishing rod. Or spear, whatever you call it. Technically, it's a trident by the time it becomes that. Though it definitely looks like a candle stand. A candle stand without the candles. That's one way to catch the fish. Burn them to death. Not sure how that's gonna work in water, though. Cook the fish directly. Oh, so hello, Tyrion. You come for the squashy noises? We got a lot of squashy noises. Though today's the last day we need to do Fisher for like the next few months. You may dip soon then. How goes the Pokemon stuff? Oh yeah, are we doing anything recently with that? If you need help with it, or Izzy, or anyone? Because I think the most recent event I already did, but I can still help you guys if you need. You can't take that while working? What, the little squish noise? Here, well, we'll go turn it off. Let's see, we'll turn off the little squishy noise. Let's see, there we go. The squishy noise is now off. There we go. He still makes spear noise, just no squishy noise. Deuces. There we go, we have disabled squishy noise. Alright, looks like we're getting 31.8 silver every time we sell. It's not too bad. You two need to do it tonight. Next event starts tomorrow. Okay, just let me know on the times then. Yeah, just poke me on Discord tonight and I'll help you guys. Just poke me and hopefully I should be around checking it. I don't have a Kyogre to go run for it though in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But I can run to support Umbreon. Oh, the next one's the water one? That was what? Water fighting? As a water type? So some kind of grass thing would probably be fine. Oh, did they do version exclusives for what you can get for the Gen 3 Pokemon? Oh gosh, I hate when they do that for the Legends. I still haven't bothered getting them all in Scarlet and Violet. I actually did very little of the post-game, like the Ultra post-game that they added after the DLC and everything. Like, I did all the main part of it, but I didn't bother getting all the Legends and everything. I hate when they split it across the two versions, which is something they always do. And then one version always gets, like, slightly better ones. But it's always random which version it is. Oh, you just haven't unlocked it yet? Yeah, I'm at the point where you can, but I don't think I've unlocked all of it yet. Because you gotta do, like, the weird co-op thing. You can do it solo, but it takes so much longer solo. So you could basically gotta do co-op for, like, 30 hours to unlock them all or something. I did some, but not for that long. I do have to say, the amount of time investment I give to a game like that when it goes for a long grind compared to an MMO are so stark. Like, an MMO could say, here's a 1,000 hour grind. And I'd be like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. And then when, like, a single player game that has, like, some co-op feature says you gotta go do a 50-hour grind, I'm like, wow, why would I ever do that? It's mostly because it's a different standard of game. Oh yeah, I just realized we haven't used any knowledge since we last double dumped into Fisher. We still have to make the crucial decision on if we dump into fishing or not. The answer is yes. I am going to. Even though we're currently at the best EXP rate you can ever get for Fisher, you know what's even better EXP rate? Literally not doing fishing at all and still getting EXP. Which is what venture slots are. I'm really, really banking on the fact that they're going to be making more venture slots in one of the 2 updates. Because we know we're eventually getting 6. They gotta give some of it, some more eventually. And every single one that they give is so much more free XP per day. It's actually crazy how much XP that is. Like at our current detective level, or our current mining level, for example, we get 3 knowledge points worth of mining XP for one single 12-hour venture, which you could take like 2 times per day. It's the equivalent of if we use 3 knowledge points. Which means over the course of a day, it's nearly 6 knowledge points worth of XP into mining. That's a lot. And obviously at different level ranges that can vary. But even if you just say like 5 for each one of these, like 5 knowledge points worth of XP, that's a lot of EXP for each one of these. Like a ridiculously high amount. That's only post 200 though. Pre 200 they're quite a bit weaker. They're like 4 times weaker. But after 200, yeah, that's about how much they are. Assuming you're using a boost potion while taking them and everything. They're anywhere from like 4 to 6, depending on what level range you do it on. Knowledge points into the skill per day. Per slot. So anything that ever gives more is super absurdly high priority. Oh yeah, that's something I gotta make sure I don't do. When we start doing the oyster venture, I gotta make sure not to actually do the lobster venture when I'm not thinking correctly. Because the oyster venture's over there, the lobster venture's over there. But if I accidentally do the lobster venture, I can't do the oyster one. Actually, there is a solution to that. I think they added a way to cancel them now. Yeah, you can cancel your venture. Never mind, that's not a problem. If we ever do that, we can immediately just cancel it and trade it out. Never mind, that's not a problem at all. I forgot they added that feature like a month or two ago. I never needed to use it, but they did add it. They're one step ahead. How do you cancel them? You just click on them and click cancel. You can't do it on the detective one though, because it gives you the reward up front. So there is no cancel button for it. But to be able to cancel a venture, you just click on it and click cancel venture. You can also cancel a venture at the source of the venture, though it's easier to do it off the tab. But you can cancel them both where you started it, as well as in the venture tab. The only exception to this is the detective venture, because it gives you the reward up front. So you can't cancel it because you already got the reward from it. But every other venture can be canceled midway through. You don't get anything for canceling it, though. But it does allow you to set up a different one if you accidentally set up, like, the wrong one or something. Or if you got a better upgraded one in that time. The main reason I think they added it was for free-to-play. Because some people who were canceling their memberships, who became free-to-play and just started grinding there, they still had venture slots that were members only. So their solution to that was, you know, adding a cancel button. So in case you cancel your membership, you can also still cancel your ventures, so you can still do the free-to-play ventures like fishing. Otherwise, you're kind of locked out of ventures, which is what actually happened for like the first month of the game. Or at least technically the second month of the game. Where people bought membership for a month and then canceled it, and then they were stuck with venture slots that they could no longer use. That's the main reason why it was added. But also gives a lot more flexibility if you get like an upgrade during that time or accidentally do the wrong one. Also, it feels so nice actually getting profit while fishing. Fishing has felt so pointless. It's like one of the only few fishing activities due to its XP rate and the profit that actually feels not horrible. Because you get the profit immediately, unlike other forms of fishing where you only get it once you've finally cooked something. Also, this is also the last pufferfish that you ever need to sell. Every pufferfish after this, or all one of them, you actually bank because there's an ingredient that's it's used for. It's used at a really weird level range, but there is a point where you actually use the final puffer. Every other puffer you don't use for anything, though. But the very last pufferfish is used for, this at 379. The only problem is you don't have to use it at 500, so it has a really weird shelf life. However, you do use it until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd use it all the way from 379 until 447. So you use it for a good almost like 70 levels. Like 67, somewhere around there, 68. So even though it's not used all the way at max, there is a pretty good level range where you do end up utilizing it some. Not sure what its profit margin is though compared to selling it. I would sure hope it's good. Never bothered checking because we're nowhere near it anytime soon. That is like a half a year to year from now worry. We are so far away from that being relevant. It's like eel tried to escape by going under us. That's kind of funny. It did a pretty good job, but it wasn't enough. Trying to like DD under us. Hey, we got 13 gold now. The only problem is I think we need like 28 or 26 or whatever it is. I forget how much you need for a level 20 tool. I mean, a level 25 tool. But it's way more than we have now. Even if we double our cash, I think we're still a bit short. Which I'm not sure how much we're making from this per hour. We're making 31.8 per cell. Just gotta figure out what it is multiplied out. Problem is I'm not sure how many we're getting per hour. Well, let's see. We could do each cycle in, what, 2 minutes? So we actually kind of already know. Is that times 30, roughly? So what's 38.1 times, or 31.8 times 30? Just to make sure we calculate it right. It's slightly under 1 gold. I just want to see exactly what it is. It is 954 silver. Like, honestly, that's not bad. And if you take account for all the 5% that we're drinking, we're making a solid 900 silver per hour doing this. That is surprisingly not horrific. It's nearly 1 gold an hour. Which means if we don't use any knowledge on Fisher... Which means if we don't use any knowledge on Fisher, we would gain during the duration all the money we need to go and upgrade our fishing supply. Or at least most of it. No, I'm still dumping into Fisher. There's better ways to make money. Like getting 3 merchant levels and just doing some leather worker. You know what we'll probably do just to make sure we get it for the first time tomorrow? I think tonight, once these are ready, I'll do one more time mining and detective. So that we can set up our 24-hour oyster during the day. So that the first time we do the oyster venture will be during the stream tomorrow. I think that'll be our plan then. Because originally I was trying to go get it for tonight. But it actually makes more sense to get it for tomorrow's stream. So, you know, we could do it on tomorrow's stream. And not just see a timer going down. That way the following day we actually get the XP drop. I'm actually not sure what the XP drop is. I'm probably not even going to look it up just so we can be surprised by it once we actually get it. Because I have no clue what it is. I know it's good. I just don't know what the exact number is. But we'll find out. Also, the dog is being dog right now. Probably gonna go pet it in a second. I'm gonna click on every pufferfish in this one room and go pet it real quick. It's always needy for attention. Let me grab all these. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'll be back in 1 minute. Alright, the dog has been thoroughly petted. I should hold it off for like 20 minutes. Until it craves attention from someone again. Oh, we get to use a 10% now. Nice. There we go. And yeah, we will be putting into fish. Let's get it done a bit quicker. Same reason why we're doing Gatherer, we're dumping into Gatherer. As we're trying to get to the better levels. Oh, so that didn't last long. It is already barking again. It really lasts way longer. Alright, let me go pet it again. I just gave it more food and a walk earlier, too. It's like, nope, want more. I'll be back in 1 second again. Alright, the dog has been re-petted. See how many seconds it takes until it starts going again. It just craves way too much attention. Like, you can give it attention for like 3 hours straight. The second you stop for like 5 minutes, she'll start going off. I'm not sure what our fishing goal is for today. I feel like it's gonna be the same situation as yesterday. Where it's like, oh, we'll do like 212 and 215, and by like 210 it was like, you know what? We might call it here. And I think the same situation is gonna be today. Earlier I was like, you know what? We're gonna go for like 222 today. Or, you know, on stream. I think we're aiming for 200. Or 220, I mean. Obviously we're already 200. I think 220 is gonna be our goal for on stream today. I do, before tomorrow's stream, go on to hit 226. I think 220 is nice in between. Stop trying to disconnect. Come back. OBS, are you back yet? You should be now. Alright. But, yeah, we'll go for about 220 today, I think. Or, you know, on stream. With the main goal being, hopefully, fingers crossed tomorrow, the new quest. I wish I could get some indication of it. Because we're kind of in the dark on, like, when on Earth is supposed to be happening. Even though they know, or, you know, they could literally release it any day now. But last I checked earlier, we don't have any info on it. Well, you know, as far as, like, hey, it's officially going to be coming out today or tomorrow. Oh, there is one place I didn't check today. I didn't check their X. Or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. Last I checked, all they did was tease the Easter thing. But they made no mention of the quest. Last I checked. Gosh, I hate these things hitboxes. If I ever do this off stream, 100% I'm turning walk off so you can't accidentally misclick them. Because gosh, these things have such a clunky hitbox. Alright, let me go check real quick. Andrew Gower has posted nothing. Community manager for the game has posted... Oh! We got something 24 minutes ago. We got a leak with a maybe underneath it. If Brighter Shores ever hits 100,000 current so it's a joke. Oh, it's just a joke one. He didn't actually leak anything about the thing. It was just saying if he gets 100,000 concurrent players in the game, that he will get a tattoo of a leak. Oh, I was hoping that would be the leak for tomorrow's thing. Sad. He's just teasing us with nothing. Unless he's prepping the leak for the quest. He's got to post at least one image of it before it comes out. Either a new location of the quest or the toll belt menu after you have like a Quipple potion or something. Or whatever they're going to do for the first reward for it. It feels weird doing a 186 fish since we're just doing a 197. But there's nothing nearby that we can really grab otherwise for value. Is the only big issue with doing puffer eel is technically it's not ideal because your eel or your puffer, one or the other, will always be a lower level by a decent amount compared to the other one. I think only at the super low level range are they ever really close together. And this leads to an issue unlike other skills where you can't synergize them as closely. For example, when we go do woodcutting into Gatherer, one thing that's nice about this, or even fishing into Forager, but particularly woodcutting into Gatherer because it's such a wider range, you're going to almost always get the synergy within like a 10 level range, if not closer. Like when we go do 208 woodcutting, we'll have 264 Gatherer, and then boom, we'll be able to get perfect value. And even if you level out of it, you get another chance to do it very soon after. Instead of Tangle Fruit, you can start doing Orchid. So even if you level out of one and it becomes not as viable, you'd eventually level into the other one. And then that one becomes your viable option. Same when it comes to Teaks. Teaks also has the exact same thing. Or not Teaks, what is that one called? Pine. Pines are set up in the same way, which was the previous one we had to do at 197. Those synergize with, directly with Bitter Fruit. But if your Bitter Fruit's a really low level, like ours is about to be soon, like right now doing 189 Bitter Fruit's not as useful. But as soon as it's pretty much not useful anymore, boom, we get Red Clover. And then instead of synergizing with the Bitter Fruit, we can do it with Red Clover. Which isn't as good of a synergy compared to Bitter Fruit, but you can still grab like 3 of them for free instead of 4 Bitter Fruit. The biggest issue with that is it's on a weird route. Like you can only do it when you're banking, whereas Bitter Fruit can be done the whole time. So that one's not as good of an example compared to Orchid, where Orchid could be done pretty much for free value the entire time, whereas that one's only at the end of the cycle rather than within every cycle, but still. There's always like some kind of route that you could do to get some other XP. And the only big issue with Puffer Eel is you can never set it up to be better. Like it's already good, but you can't set it up your level range to be better than it already is. The closest thing you have is when you can do Fish Forager. But the biggest issue with that is your level range. As Forager does not go that deep. And by 209 you have the last supply that I believe can be synergized at all with fishing. It's one of the reasons I keep saying that it pretty much falls off after that. Because I don't think there's a single other supply that you can do with it. Actually, that's not true. Starfish. Starfish with cod, I think, is literally the only one. Oh no, and Limpet. Limpet, never mind. Limpet's a huge one, actually. Alright, so there are 2 that you eventually get. But they are pretty deep, though. Starfish has cod synergy. And Limpet has Manta Ray and, what was the other one? Manta Ray and Gennard synergy. So never mind, they do have it too. It's just, their distribution's a lot weirder. Whereas Gatherer has a lot better distribution in the woodcutting for multi-skilling XP. Like, Fisher Forager does have it, it's just its level ranges are a lot weirder. The biggest issue with that it being that Forager is really, really, really low level concentrated, whereas Gatherer is a lot more distributed across the entire line. Whereas almost everything good that you get from Forager is really front-loaded. But I would say of the 3 gathering skills, Forager, Gatherer, and eventually Delver, with the current state of Monument doing nothing and the fact that it's likely just going to be something cosmetic down the line, I would have to say Forager is by far the worst of the 3. Like, it's not even close. But the only big upside is that it's really concentrated at the start, but that's even more of a reason why you don't need to get high. It's definitely not the worst value skill to get to 500. But it has the least amount of benefit post 500 compared to pre 500. I mean, sorry, post 200 compared to pre 200, I mean. Like, out of any skill in the game, it gains the least amount of benefit from going above 200. Even though it's not the worst one to get to 500. Actually, what would be the worst skill to get to 500? Not as far as how bad it would be, but, you know, like its use cases. Not like how annoying it'd be to get to 500. Probably Detective, honestly. It's purely a money-making skill that gains no benefit above 83. I guess Chef, too, in that regard. But at least Chef is AFK. Detective's not AFK anymore now that they nerfed raid dens into the ground. As our level ranges where they're viable is way smaller than before. The only big upside I can see with the Detective nerf is, the Detective nerf they did is a buff to Spotting Thieves. Before, Spotting Thieves was almost a joke at most level ranges, except for a few, like, really deep that were kind of worth it. Like the 373 before you got to 393, and most notably the 422 before you got to 451. But the big benefit of them now is you can make a lot of profit from them. Like over a gold per hour at like some of these deeper ones. Honestly, even what we were doing earlier was probably over a gold an hour. The 296 activity, we're getting like 6 point something silver each. I'm not sure how many you can do per hour or per minute. But it's definitely at least a few per minute. Which, what does that come out to? Let's say it's 3 per minute. What would that be? What is like 19 times 60? Yeah, if that's true, that's about 1.1 gold an hour. Spotting Thieves at 296. Roughly, that's a ultra guesstimation right there. But assuming you can catch 3 of them per hour, it's about 1.1 gold an hour. Compared to raid dens that are 0 gold an hour. So putting it that way, if you look at like the cash from it, it's not that bad. You're just not getting any combat XP. But now that you're basically getting no combat XP from doing it, you might as well do it that way. They kind of completely 180'd how you do Detective now. Where before you'd barely ever do Spotting Thieves and would pretty much only do raid dens. Now it's the other way around. Where you almost never do raid dens, but you want to prioritize Spotting Thieves. And of course you always do investigations once you're at investigation. That was the case before and that's still the case now. Yeah, there's something else about Puffer Eel that we don't get to do. We don't get any foraging XP. Eel with foraging has some synergy, but it falls off. There's one of them caps out at 179, the other one caps out at like 167. Both of those are at the highest tier they're ever going to be. So it's basically impossible. Actually, what am I supposed to do then at Eel? I didn't think about that. I'm going to have to do Eel Puffer. Like way down the line when we have eels again. I just realized we're gonna have to do eel puffer. Because I can't do eel with foraging anymore because our foraging supply doesn't ever go any higher. Let's say I had a new one down the line or something. I guess the other alternative to that is banking the eels. As our next eel is actually worth banking. Actually, isn't it the final eel you ever get? Oh yeah, that one's really worth banking then. Oh, interesting. One thing that would actually be really funny, though I'm not sure it's worth it. Though it would be really funny. You can catch 6 eels, buy a bunch of cooking supplies, bank everything, then go get 6 eels, buy a bunch of cooking supplies, bank everything, and keep repeating that. Is that worth it, given that you're probably reducing your EXP rate by like 20-25% per hour? Probably not, but it would be really funny. I think there would be too much downtime doing that, though. It's slightly too far away. It would be funny, though. But I don't think it's practical. You're better off just grabbing the 3 pufferfish. I do believe I would bank all the final eel, though. Same as the final puffer. This is actually the last time we ever get to sell puffer eel. Every eel and every puffer after this we would actually bank for cooking EXP. Honestly, I almost want to go test how long the eel thing takes that we just mentioned earlier. I'm actually kind of curious how long it is. I think we're going to after this next set, because I'm actually really curious what it comes out to. So what I'm going to do is catch these 3 eels. Alright, where's the timer? There's not an up timer, is there? Let's put 5 minutes on the clock. It's definitely not going to take that long. Alright. Let me go sell all this. And what I'm going to do is catch 6 of them. Also, like, it is also an excuse to go get our cooking contract. Oh, wait, I can't, though, because they're all stacked. Wait. Probably go do those soon. I know, I can't even get my cooking contracts because they're all filled. But what I'm going to do is catch 6 eels. Wait, should we start the timer at the final eel? Or at the time of the first eel? We'll do it at first eel, I think. Just do a count for catching time. So there's 2 times we're going to be timing this. The first one is to see how long it would take to go do what we want to go do. And then next would be to compare it to when they respawn. Also, we'll be dropping them because I don't need these eels. Which will add like an extra second, but that's fine. Anyway, click deposit all, which would work regardless. Deposit all. So it doesn't matter if we have a mix of stuff or not, it would still go in. And then we'd be back at eels. And then we would go right back in here. And as soon as we get back into the water, that would be time stopped. And time, okay. So that took 1 minute and 27 seconds. Okay. Now, how much downtime is that? So it took 1minute 27. And now let's see how long it takes for them to respawn. And whatever difference is a percent is how much time we're wasting. So we'll grab all these, and as soon as they respawn, we'll know. I just will not waste time. Let me go sell these eels as well. So what I'm trying to see here is mostly just a respawn time. So it took us 1 minute and 27 to do the whole cycle before. And how long is their respawn time relative to how much time we're wasting? I assume they're about 1 minute respawn, which means you're wasting like 27 seconds. Oh, they respawn after 50. They respawn after 50, interesting. It took what, 1 minute 27? Now let me go time the other thing independently. How long does it take to go from here to here again? Let's see if it's worth it. So 1 minute 27 minus 50 is 37 seconds. So this needs to take, well, basically we just have to compare it to how long this takes. Okay, let's go do it. Do that, boom, bite a lemon, or whatever we want to get. So we have 37 seconds left. See how long this takes. Because honestly, this might be worth it. This might actually be worth it. Time stops as soon as we get back to the shop. Yeah, wow. Hold up. It is actually worth it. No way. It wastes at most 7 seconds. Is 7 seconds worth wasting, though? That is interesting, though. That is interesting. If you were to bank every eel while grab... Oh, there's another factor you have to keep in mind, though. Alright, wait, it's not actually worth it. Because there's one factor I didn't factor in. If you're banking 6 eels, that means you have 6 of this inventory. So assuming that potions are equipable by then, you would only be banking 18 items rather than 24. Which means every trip you do is 25% less. So you get the benefit of all of them being eel. Alright, maybe it's not worth it then. Because it seems like it's 7 seconds slower, but you also get 6 less inventory. Which is 25% less inventory to make up for the eel. I know, it's not bad though. If you were to bank every 6 eel every single time, it's actually far less... It's far less bad than it seems. Yeah, it seems like it would be horrible, but it's actually not that bad. I don't think it's better than doing both separately, but it's not that bad. Like grabbing 6 eel, grabbing the rest of your inventory as cooking supplies, then bank them all, and then grab 6 eel again and repeat. It sounds like it's inefficient, but it's actually wasting only like 10 to 20%. It really comes down to, do you really want the eels that badly? The other thing you could be doing... Oh, no, you can't, because then you'd just be puffer eeling. Oh, no, you can do some variation of it. You could do 6 eel, 3 puffer, drop all the puffers, and then just bring back 24 eels. That would give you no cooking supplies, but it would waste less time overall. I don't know, we'll mess with it more whenever we get there. We're not doing that for like another half a year to a year, so we don't need to worry about it for a while. We're talking about level 323 Fisher at this point. And after today, we're not touching Fisher for like a half a year, not counting Venture. Oh, I never turned the sound back on, did I? I still have the UI sound off from earlier. Alright, let's put it back on. So I always keep third-party sound off, by the way. Mostly so other people's noises don't distract us from the real noises. Because there are some player-specific audio cues. But sometimes other people near you will make an audio cue that you think is your own. So I just keep them disabled. There are a few that it cancels out that are weird, though. Like, one of the noise for the mining ventures doesn't play. As well as the mass blast mining. If you're doing blast mining, you basically have to put on third-party sounds. As one of the biggest audio cues for the activity is based on third-party sound. But for most general activities, it's better to have it off. Otherwise, you'd hear everyone's spear next to us. So you wouldn't know which one is your audio cue or not. Yep, almost our first level on Puffer Eel. We're almost there. Yeah, I think we're going for 220 for now. And then I'll do somewhat AFK Puffer off stream. Or I'll still throw Puffer Eel in there occasionally, but mostly just do Puffer. Puffer into cell. It's not that much worse. Because you do lose some time for going to Eel. I never actually timed out the exact amount. Because also, hey, Squeak is back. But, I believe it's about 10% worse. If you, like, never touch Eel at all. The main reason it's not even worse than that is because, you get to the Puffer respawn quicker. Because there is some amount of downtime when you go for Eel where the Puffers have already respawned. So there's a bit of an overlap where you're technically losing XP while gaining XP. You're gaining more than you're losing, but you're still losing some of your potential. Because by the time we get back to Puffer Room, the Puffers will already be there. But the problem with that is if you were doing Puffer only, you'd be immediately taking them. Whereas when doing Eel, we'll be taking them slightly later than normal. Not by much. Like right here, you can see they're already respawned. Which if you're doing Puffer only, you'd already be grabbing. Doing an early sell so we can do a 10% pot here. Because by the time I drink it and use the point, it should be respawned by then. Also, speaking of Puffer only. And there. Yeah, that's a strategy you also do while doing Puffer only. As you always have downtime to pot up. There it is, the 226 venture. We're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. So close, yet so far. That we don't need to do fishing again for the next half a year to a year unless they buff it like crazy. It's gonna feel nice being done with the skill. Not counting ventures. But basically it becomes a venture-only skill for a while. There is a bit of a dead zone where we might want to consider fishing again. The dead zone is very far away, though. It's basically 279. Technically, you could say 261 too. Depends on what you want to stick with the venture. But by one of these, you would have to consider, yeah, it's probably time to head back to fishing a little. You can keep still brute forcing it through venture. I think 305 is the true point where you have to go back to fishing. As you're just way too far and you're getting close to when your next big XP drop is. Because of course they still keep getting better. After 231, your next really big one is at 331. So by about 300-ish, you generally want to make the push for 331. Kind of like how we're doing the 200 to 226 push. At 300, you basically want to do the 300 to 331 push. And you get a 5% extra XP spear along the way too, which helps out even more. But you basically gotta do the same grind that we're doing again at 300 fishing. But luckily we are months away from 300 fishing, so we don't need to worry about that anytime soon. Which is kind of funny. You actually have to do literally the same grind we're doing right now. I didn't even think about that. You gotta do ray eel. Which means you gotta do the rays that we were just doing. And pufferfish eel. Or in this case, eel pufferfish. Just the other way around. Yeah, that's the same grind we have now. We had manta rays. And then we had to do puffer eel. The only difference is you have to do puffer eel here. And the other way around, you gotta do eel puffer. But otherwise, the same thing. I just realized that now. That's really funny. Do you have to do it again? No, you can't possibly have to do it again for the third. Wait, what grind do you have to do for the third? Or does this happen? 437. Because the 437 can't be because there's no other puffer eel. So it can't possibly come up again. Yeah, the other one's just kind of weird where it is. Because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. That's an outlier. This is kind of funny though. The first two post 200 fishing ventures both are the same grind. You gotta do mana ray into puffer eel. You gotta do it at the lower range going into 200, and you gotta do it again at the 300 range to get to the other one. When you get the lobster upgrade at level 331. It's only the final time you gotta upgrade the venture that doesn't do the same thing a third time. But the first two times are basically the same grind. I just realized our goal for today is to reach 220 Fisher for on stream. I just now noticed that's exactly level 4,100. Get a nice clean number. We don't get a really cool clean number until 5,000 though. Which at this rate, honestly, is like months away. I think at best we're getting like 10 levels a day. Slightly less than that. Some days we do more, some days we do less. Well, let's say it's like 10 levels a day. We wouldn't have that for 3 months. The game's been out for like 4 months. Yeah, post 100 is kind of brutal with level range. We're roughly 3 months away from level 5,000. Despite getting to 4,000 in basically 3 months' time. Luckily, it never gets slower from here. Every single level range that we're at is like the slowest it could ever get. None of them ever get any slower. There are some dead zones within skills that can be like that. But the actual XP curve doesn't get any worse for any. I think there's like a weird cutoff like near the end though. Where it is slightly worse, but it's mostly because you run out of new activities for some skills. Or it's better to camp a slightly lower one. Like Chef would probably have that happen to it. Because realistically, the last thing you're ever cooking for Chef, depending on how you're going about it. Which that's not true, because you get omelet at 490. But prior to omelet at 490, you're probably doing stew all the way from 438 to 490. So those last 5 to 10 levels before 490 are probably really slow, comparatively. Especially if you don't have the supplies to do the other cooking contracts. Like if you're literally doing stew only all the way from there to there, that dead zone would be really bad near the end. But if they release content slow enough, we would actually legitimately get 500 all. Even though it's not really a plan at the moment. Because it'd be impossible depending on the frequency at which they add new zones. But if they release them slow enough, which at current rate, who knows? But if they release them slow enough, we might actually have a chance to eventually true max. Like 500 all. It'll take years from now, but, you know, we'll eventually get there. I forget if I mentioned on stream or what I was mentioning it for. I can't remember. Did I mention it once on stream? I can't remember. But when it comes to old school RuneScape, it took around 8 years for the first max hardcore to actually come into the game. And when I say max, I mean like true max, like 200 mil all XP. And yeah, literally only one person has ever done it. It took like 8 years. And that was with no new skills coming to the game, which is kind of crazy. For Brighter Shores, it's definitely doable. It just comes down to the frequency at which they add new quests. I mean, new chapters. If they do 1 per year, 100% doable. If they do 2 per year, kind of doable, but you really got to grind for it. 3 or more per year, probably not going to bother. If next year we get like chapter 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9, definitely not possible. But if next year is like chapter 6 and maybe chapter 7, very doable then. Who knows, might even get chapter 6 this year. We don't actually really know what's coming after chapter 5. Like, we know some things about chapter 6. Like the name of it, the color of it. The fact that it's likely going to have a weapon and armor enhancing skill. The fact that it has a windmill, which could be a farming skill instead of like gather or forager or something. Could be an actual farming skill potentially. As windmill is a very distinct object. That implies some very distinct things. Especially if it's like the main image of the chapter as well. Like if it just has a random windmill in it, it's like, oh yeah, this is a random windmill. But when your like cover image for the chapter is like, here's the windmill. It's like, farming skill? Sure seems like it. Like, if the chapter just had a windmill in it, it's like, yeah, it's just a windmill. But if your main image for the loading screen is it, kind of like how the merchant tower is for chapter 4, then it's like, this seems distinctly important. Oh yeah, we never did try killing the snake after we got the new level. Oh no, after our shield upgrade, we're doing pretty good on the snake. We only need like one heal fight, and some fights we didn't even need any. Also helped that we bought a bunch of 2-star gear. Cost like 3 gold total to go get it all, but yeah, we're in full 2-star now. Still have not seen a 2-star or better armor drop yet though. It's out there somewhere. Also, still have not seen a 4-star since the new rework. In all fairness, we went in combat for like 5 or 6 hours. But they're out there somewheres. But of course, at this point for combat, we're mostly waiting on the rework. Special attack, skill tree, all that good stuff. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I believe our next pivot is mining. Well, technically the entirety of Mines of Matubin, but it has to start with mining. As mining's the main thing blocking us from doing everything in Mines of Matubin other than Bone Rate. Main thing blocking us from doing Bone Rate is our Gatherer level. And the fact that Delver doesn't exist yet. Still gonna call it Worm Wrangler though. The Worm Wrangler skill. Only like 5 to 10% of the skill is actually wrangling worms, but still the Worm Wrangler based on the icon. I was like, gosh, I was sitting on my leg weird. Now it's like all numb. Oh no. I'm trying to move it, but I can't move. It like cut off the circulation. Ow, I hate that feel. Ow, 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 ow. It just clicking. Ow. Oh gosh. Okay, I can almost move now. Alright, there we go. Because I was trying to stretch my leg. That's like completely numbed. Ugh. Wait, what was that misclick? What just happened? That was so many misclicks. Hate these things hitboxes. That's one nice thing about disabling the move option. You just mash click the screen and don't need to worry about it. The problem is I hate having to move with the mini-map or like with middle mouse key or any other button. This feels really clunky. Even on Steam Deck when I do it, I gotta use the mini-map for it, and it's kind of annoying. It's just something I haven't bound yet that I really need to. I haven't bound the M button to anything yet. So I can do a map escape to be able to move quicker. Because whenever we go in AFK these pufferfish off stream, we would want to have access to that. I need to figure out what I want to rebind. I gotta bind something to M. Doesn't matter what, it just has to be something. Just clicking the M key brings the map up. Actually, every single one of these have a hotkey. That's just the only relevant one. Then maybe spells. Being able to bring spells up real quick with L. Why on earth is it L? I have no clue. There are two things I normally never hotkey for on PC. But on Steam Deck, they would actually be kind of convenient because the buttons are so small. I'm not sure how they're going to fix that for mobile. Supposedly they do have an internal test version of the mobile version. But they really got to reconsider how they do the buttons because they'd be way too small for mobile. They're already too small for Steam Deck. Also, dragon number 48. We actually had dragon number 3 on day 1. Obviously, we ended up switching it out. I wonder who got the OG dragon. I don't think they play. Because I don't think they're on leaderboard. They sniped it on day 1 and then never did anything with it. Yep, they're not on leaderboard. Someone got an amazing name and then it's like, oh, let me do nothing with it. Actually, one other one I was going to go for on day 1 for the middle account, but I couldn't because it wasn't deleted. I assumed by then it would have been taken. Did anyone get Armadillo? Well, someone does, but... yeah, they didn't get on leaderboard either. Let's see, what else is a really big RuneScape? Oh, what if someone just has RuneScape? That'd be funny. Interesting. Yeah, everyone sniped a bunch of cool names, but then never did anything with them. I think they said in the past that anyone who has a name, they get to keep it forever. If you paid even once for it, and even if your membership goes off, apparently you get to keep your name still. So the names are just forever gone. Oh yeah, I changed it a few days ago. I'm not sure if I ever made any mention of it. We finally switched back to cyan plus white, by the way. I did white gloves, white shoes with cyan body and legs. That was my compromise. I didn't want everything to be same color, but I also kept going back to cyan, so I was like, we gotta stay with this color. But it matches the hat perfectly. Because it has a little cyan bulb with like the white on it. Until we get the Easter hats, then we gotta match our outfit to the Easter hats. Or whatever they're doing for Easter. They 100% confirmed we're getting an Easter event, we just don't know what the reward is for it. They did mention the way that you obtain them will be different than last time, though. So it might actually be a proper event this time rather than just, like, go gain XP to go get hats. Might be an actual event that you have to go complete or something else. Which is what he did originally for all of his events. The only didn't the first time around was because of development time. But he always likes making a little event for every single one. The only reason the first one didn't have it was they were busy doing other stuff. Not that they aren't now, but you know, they've had a little bit more time since launch. The launch rush. Oh, so I do have to say, there is something missing on our visual, though. We got no amulet. Every time I look at that, it's like, oh yeah, we're still amuletless, aren't we? It's gonna be really weird looking back on that, like, years from now, when amulets are just so standard to always be wielded. And then seeing just what characters look like never wielding an amulet. Because everyone's just perpetually gonna have one on down the line. Oh, is this a 10% angle? I think this is a 10% angle. Is this too early? Possibly, but let's hope not. Oh, maybe it is too early. I'll find out when it expires and we don't get to use the point. We should be fine. It's pretty good knowledge per hour. We're up against the clock. Go, go, go. 1 minute 45 seconds. Go, 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 go. Sorry, 1:30, I mean. We should be fine. Or is it? No, we should be fine. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be fine. Keep forgetting, this is actually really good knowledge per hour. We're actually doing this some in early game too, at one point. Just because how good knowledge it is. It's not the absolute best method in the game, but it's pretty high. It's definitely the best you ever get while doing fishing. Also just high in general. But yeah, I believe after this today, mining is our next pivot. Not counting, of course, quest updates. Because it's definitely the thing we're going to need most before the combat rework. Right now, we can make up to... What can we make up to? Haven't done the math on it recently. I think I'm going to double check. We can make up to a 207 times 5. Wait, can't I just multiply it all by 5 and divide it by 3? Yeah, I can. Why am I doing them separately? Wait. I got the number. All I gotta do is add all 3 times it by 5 and divide it by 3. 207 plus 270 plus 218 times 5 divided by 3. I can make a level 1155 weapon. 4-star. Yeah, 1155. Which means we'd be able to go minus 879. 879. I can go 276 levels while using a maxed out weapon the entire time with a special attack. After the rework. That's not too bad. And that's post 200 levels, basically. Like, that's basically the equivalent of maxing a skill from 200 to 500. And how much time that would take. Which is actually kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, the entire duration we'd have a max weapon. But yeah, that's still crazy though. I keep forgetting that. That's a lot of time. Like, that's the equivalent if we go choose a random skill around like 230, 250. And just go be like, we're going to go 500 this now. Is the equivalence of how many levels I could do while using a maxed out 4-star weapon with the current level distribution we have right now. Is the equivalence of, let's go get a 500. And how long it would take. But hey, at least we'd have special attack weapons the whole time. All in a line. Perfect. The perfect horizontal. Technically it's vertical. Because this is the actual orientation. There's one thing that really confused me one day when we were trying to figure out what direction everything was moving in. I thought this was north. Like up from here. But no, that is north over there. Because whenever I do this, I always do a side camera. I pretty much never have the camera oriented like this while doing Puffer Eel. Oh, also, on the venture poll right now, I'm actually surprised. Merchant's in the lead. And Fishing's in dead last. And Detective has 0 votes. Poor Detective. In all fairness, it is pretty bad in the sense that all it gives you is coins. It gives no unique material. Which means over time, the amount of value it gives technically goes down due to inflation. Whereas everything else can still scale based on economy. So I always find it interesting how crowded every room is, despite how small the player base is right now. It's one thing I really like about the new, or not really new, but how the server system works for this game. Like, there's only like several hundred people playing, yet every room you go to is like max crowded. Because basically every single person in the entire game currently doing Puffer Eel. Because there's not enough servers to, or there are, but you know, there's not enough people to make a new server. So everyone in the entire game doing the activity is just there. Like every person currently in this Eel room is online right now, is basically in this room right now. That's why it seems so crowded. It's something I like though. Because it makes it so you're never too overly crowded whenever it is, like, super populated. Like, if there was, like, you know, 20,000 people online, you would never feel overly crowded in a room because it just makes a new server when it needs to. But then also when there's almost no one playing, like, every single person in the entire game is forced into the same room. So it seems a lot more crowded. But in a good way. Oh, also, that guy looks like he's doing Fisher only. Level 426, no faction, and he has a level 310 fishing spear. Looks like he's getting the better puffer as well. Oh, but I bet he's not banking it though. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen anyone bank eels or puffers while doing them. Puffers, that makes sense because there's only one level range you can do that at, and it's absurdly high. But even though I have occasionally, I don't think I've ever seen anyone else bank eels. At least on mass. Like, I've seen people bank eels once. Like, you know, where they go and do it once and not just keep doing it. But I've never seen someone get, like, a full inventory eels, then bank them, then get a full inventory, then bank them. Over and over again. But it's kind of the same way that I did mana rays. Like, I wasn't, like, mass banking mana rays. But whenever we were going to go check our cooking contracts, I would go and, you know, bank them. Because we're going to be there anyways. So what's tomorrow? Thursday? Today does not feel like a Wednesday. There's two things that really threw me off in the last week. Getting sick the other day, or you know, the other week, and daylight savings time. The combination of those two things has made my entire week feel so off compared to normal. And that guy's asking about the fetid flounder. Wait, should we go show him? Fish? This is not a correct answer. Oh no, should we go tell him? We can go lead him to it. That's so much XP waste though. Because I'm not sure how to explain to go here. Unless he found the overground pond, in which case we can mention go to overground pond. Let's see, is he still asking about it, or has he got an answer yet? Oh, you gotta answer. He's not there anymore. I would say that is one thing that's really annoying in early game. Is figuring out where you have to buy some of the tools that you need. Two of them in particular being the trowel that you need super early on. Especially if you didn't already do the obelisk quest, which would have brought you in the direction of the shop. But also where on earth you gotta buy an axe for chapter 2. Like if you explore the whole chapter, it becomes very obvious. But if you just enter chapter 2 and you see, hey, woodcutting, I want to go do woodcutting. It's kind of hard to figure out where on earth you gotta go to get an axe. You basically just have to explore everywhere until you randomly find the shop. It's like, oh yeah, it's right over here. Not to mention the guy who sells it is not even a shop owner. He's just some random guy standing in front of a shop. Which makes it even more confusing because you would think the guy selling logs would be the person you buy it from. But it's actually the person standing in front of the shop who just happens to sell axes. And it's even more confusing because the gatherer place is not where you buy that either. You gotta go to some random side shop that's not even in the same room. At this point, 2 more double meters, I think, gets us there. Maybe it's 3 more. But we're nearly there. Because we're going for 220 for now. Don't grab dinner. And then, we'll probably, yeah, puffer eel the rest of the, time, the rest of the day. So that we can have it by tomorrow. And then tomorrow, around noonish, we will hopefully be able to do 2 things. A new quest, fingers crossed, hopefully. And, the bigger thing, well, actually, I guess that is the bigger thing. But, of course, finally be able to go do the 226 venture. Which means tomorrow, if the new quest does not come out, we finally start our Mines of Matubin pivot. Which is something we've been talking about for, like, probably a month now. But assuming a new quest does not come out tomorrow, tomorrow's finally the day. The only other grind I might have to do in the near future is the cooking grind, but the only reason I was going to do the cooking grind so early was because I wanted an AFK activity for like 2 weeks from now. However, if I just mine enough, mining or smithing everything that we mined could just be the AFK activity. The only big issue with that is that has a cap that would eventually run out, whereas cooking would technically never run out, in the sense that you can just keep buying more. The only problem with doing mining is there is a hard cap of how many we will eventually have. And while something like 30,000 sounds like a lot, it doesn't last forever. Like 30,000 doesn't even last for 1 week. Like smithing 30,000 ore. Depending on how much you do per day, that only lasts for like 4 days. Potentially even 3 if you really went crazy with it. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep wanting to calculate out like how many we need to go get for X amount of time. But I keep forgetting you can't see your current XP number. If I want to know what the number is, I basically gotta check the wiki now. I hope they bring that back in an update soon. Because unless I'm missing a very obvious location, you can't see what your total XP is anymore. You can see how much you need for your next level, but not your total. Which means without checking the wiki or any other third-party source, there's no way of knowing for sure. If you need to calculate further than like one level away. Because I was gonna do the math about how many more puffer eels we gotta do for 226. But yeah, I don't want to bother bringing up the wiki page and everything. So I can't actually calculate it out. There's just no in-game way of doing it anymore, like there was before. There it is. Alright. So we can at least see our next level. How much XP do we need? 2.5 mil. How much is each rotation? Because then we can figure it out per inventory. Then we can figure out per time. So we got a 3.2 combined with what? So that's 9.6 plus... 9.6 times 2. Now let's get a calculator going. I'm not going to remember all this. Okay, 19,200. And then 4,600 times 6. Or sorry, by 12. Let's see, for the 600 times 12 plus 19,200. 74,400 XP per 2 minutes. And then you divide that into the other number. And I guess technically multiply that by 2? Yeah, into 2.5 mil. 2.5 mil divided by 74400. It would take 33 sets, not counting knowledge. And each one of those is 2 minutes. That's weird. Oh, so hello, Isabel. Welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. That's weird. I just got double logged out of Old School RuneScape. That's strange. It's not saying our account is banned. We'll try a different server. Loading. That's weird. Maybe their servers are offline because it's not loading. Oh no, what's RuneScape doing? They got some kind of weird issue going on. Ah, rollback's coming. Probably. I have no clue what's going on. It won't let me switch server or anything. That's weird. Well, I guess we're not playing Old School RuneScape on the side. Oh no, all the Castle War tickets. My 6 Castle Wars tickets per hour. Whatever shall I do? We need like another 2,000 of them. How am I supposed to AFK them for, like, several hundred more hours if I can't AFK it? Oh, well. Let me go minimize them. I'll probably fix the servers later. It can't possibly be my connection, though, because our stream and Brighter Shores are working fine. Oh yeah, Isabel, Tyrion was here earlier. Were we doing the Pokemon thing later tonight? Let me know if so. Because I could be ready whenever. Alright, we are? Okay. Just let me know. Oh, on the poll for today, someone finally chose detective. Let's see, what are we currently at? We're at 45% for merchant, 9% for detective, 27% for mining, and 18% for fishing. I'm actually surprised the fishing one is so low. In all fairness, I didn't do it for the longest time as well. But it is actually the best venture in the game post 200. It doesn't get good till 226 though, which is probably the reason why. Because most people would be below 226, including ourselves. We're not getting it until tomorrow. Like, it's a really big milestone to have to go for before it's good. But once you do get 226, it's like the best venture in the game. Because you can actually boost the XP rate of it. While also having like a 4 times multiplier since it's post 200. So it's really, really good. The problem is you gotta get 226 Fisher, which most people do not do. Actually, how many people have done it? We're 204 right now, and it says we're ranked 204 at 219, which means by the time we get to 226, honestly, probably only 180 people in the whole game have access to the good part of the venture, like when it's actually good. Because yeah, less than 194 people, so less than 200 people have it right now. I can't see the exact number until we get a little bit higher. But it looks like only about 180, 190 people have the really good venture for it. In the entire game right now. Like the point where fishing ventures are actually worth doing. So that would explain why. I was also wondering that earlier, why that one is so low, but now that I think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense why it's so low. There's roughly 180 or 190 people in the entire game have it currently. Obviously, you could do the venture below that, but it doesn't get good until that level range. Which is actually something I'm trying to work my alt accounts to. Their venture situation's really awkward right now, so I'm actually trying to get them to 39 fishing. Very, very, very slowly. Because that's what I've been doing for their knowledge points. They're roughly like 2 to 3 months away from 39 fishing. Because of how little we play them. However, I am working them to 39 fishing. So they can start running the fishing venture, double of it. It's only going to take about another 2 months. Which sounds insane, given that you could do that in 1 day. Honestly, probably should at some point. It's just going to take a lot of time. To be able to get them done with it in 1 day, I would have to do it for about 5 hours straight. Yeah, the reason why 5 hours take so long is currently I play them for about, like 20 minutes a week, roughly. So it takes them a long time to do something that takes 5 hours. Oh yeah, when we did the thing earlier, we never did take into account knowledge. So we're gonna have a double 200 drop. How many would that take away from it? I need to do the math. Also, hello, Stefan. Been running the lobster venture since launch, pretty much. Nice. You have thousands upon thousands of lobsters? Oh gosh, that sounds like our mining venture right now. I have 1,500 explosives for the next tier. Because every single day we keep getting 24 of them. Well, roughly 24 if I stay up on it. But, it's kind of funny because you get the venture around, like, 231. But you don't use the material until level, 348. It's an extremely big gap between when you get it and when you can use it. And I already have 1,500 of it. Though despite having that much, that is actually not enough to get to the mining level. 1,500 of these is nowhere near the amount you have to do to get to iron. Honestly, I'm not even sure if that gets you to 355, let alone 372. Despite how many we already have. Like literal months worth. Like, I think that's like 2 or 3 months worth or something. Probably closer to 2 months. Actually, we could break out down the math. If we're getting roughly 24 per day, obviously a little bit less because we're not always taking exactly what's available. But, what is 1,500 divided by 24? I've been doing the mining venture. I was right, yeah, for 2 months. It's technically slightly more than 2 months we've been doing that venture. But it's finally going to change starting tomorrow. As unless we get more venture slots, I think we're going to start running double fish starting tomorrow. Double fishing venture. There's a lot of benefits to it. One is we have to use way less potions. Currently per day, I'm using 2 5% for Chapter 4 and 2 7% for Chapter 3. Which is way more expensive than 1 10% for Chapter 1, which is what we would need if we did the 24-hour oyster venture. The other thing that's nice is it's 24-hour. So instead of having to check it twice per day, you only have to check it once per day. So everything about it is just way better. And of course, you can also boost the EXP even more. It is the only venture in the game right now that can be EXP boosted based on the tool. It kind of looks like you can do it on the detective one. But despite this having an enchant value, last I checked, you're not able to enchant it. Which is actually something I didn't check since the update. Ooh. I wonder if you can enchant it now. Wait. That's huge if so. But yeah, even though it has an enchant icon on it, it's currently unenchantable. But what I haven't checked is, did they change that after the update? Let me go check that real quick. I assume the answer is no, but I never actually bothered checking. Let me go check. I never thought that about that until just now. I'm still about 90% sure you still can't. But I've never checked since the update. So while we're here, let's see if we can get a 2-star upgrade. And by that, I mean look at the shop for no reason. Because there's literally nothing that can be upgraded. Technically, we do a 2-star to a bigger 2-star, but that is absurdly not worth it. Honestly, even just getting all this 2-star for like 3 gold wasn't worth it. We're just getting really unlucky on drops. Alright, let me go check. I'm around 90-95% certain you still can't upgrade it. But I've never actually tried since the update. So let me just really quickly peek at it. Nope, you still can't. Yeah, you can the fishing venture, you cannot for the other one. Oh yeah, maybe we should start dumping our money on it too. Because that's our next pivot right now. Let me go do that now, actually, I guess. Since we're doing Obelisk right now. Let me go upgrade our... Make sure to do the right one. Let me go upgrade our oyster. Let me just double check everything. Our oyster cage to a higher level. Yep, oyster net, oyster... Okay. Make sure it's the oyster net and not the lobster pot or whatever it's called. Let me go do that right now. Oh, I never bought the better fishing rod either. Also got to buy another upgrade once we get to 231. Alright, oyster net. Do not do it on a different one. Yeah, this one. But yeah, look, you can upgrade these. Interesting. But yeah, oyster net. Okay, just making sure. Let's go upgrade this a little. This is the thing that we'll need for tomorrow. The only problem is I won't be able to get it to 25 immediately. I'm not sure what we're going to do to make money to get to 25. But that's a later issue. So I like how you just put the entire trap just on the thing. Like, so weird compared to putting an item there before, but sure. Hopefully it'll make Obelisk actually do something later. Beyond just being a glorified tool upgrading station. I assume this is where you're gonna have to respec your character down the line. Like, when skill tree does come out, you're probably gonna have to respec at an Obelisk rather than in a menu. Like, you'll probably be able to look at your skill tree in a menu, but you probably have to respec specifically at an Obelisk if you want to change them. Alright, we almost got to level 20. Wait, is level 20 way cheaper than I thought it was? No, just its price goes up a lot near the end. Yeah, we're still gonna be a little short. Alright, can we get 2 more, or this is the final one? Oh, we barely don't have enough. But yeah, we still gotta make enough money for the final 2 upgrades. It's not too much, though. We gotta make like 3 gold. Which, honestly, just doing all the oyster puffer, looks like we'll get there. Just in the gold profit from the rest of our fishing. Even if I dump knowledge the whole time, I think the profit from it is enough. So that works out perfectly, then. Also, I did do the right one, correct? I did the oyster net, correct? There we go, we did the right one. I will eventually need to do the lobster one, but we don't need to level 331 fishing, so we can ignore it for quite a while. Oyster one's the only one we need in the near immediacy few months. Oh, so Stefan, do I have you added in-game? I can't recall the last time I've seen you around. Even though I see you in chat all the time. Oh, so I just realized if we would have done one more inventory, we would have had exactly enough for that other upgrade. Oh no. Yeah, we need about 3 more gold. 3, 4 more. We should get that automatically just from getting 226 fishing though, luckily. So yeah, we won't have to go out of our way at all, which is nice. We're going to be left with like 0 gold remaining, but we shouldn't have to go out of our way at all. Oh, other than to this little shop to keep selling stuff. There we go. Also, 1 more level. Not just for the fishing goal for the right now, but also for 4,100. Nice clean number. That's oddly enough, we've been gaining levels quicker than him today. Which I find strange because he's doing merchant right now. Which in theory should be quicker than doing fishing. Though in all fairness, this is the quickest fishing XP you can ever get. The current level range that we're at right now. Never gets quicker than this. Well, relative to level range. Hey, what's our Hope Port rank going to be concluding at? Because our Hope Port number was always behind, and still is, relatively speaking. Compared to the other 4 chapters. I mean, other 3. It's always been our lowest chapter, and it still is our lowest chapter even after all this grind. People really love Hope Port for some reason. I guess some people are just going down the line, which might be the reason why it's so much more concentrated. Because some people are just doing every chapter in order. Like, you know, all of chapter 1, then all of chapter 2, so on and so forth kind of situation. There's also the free-to-play aspect as well. Also, we dropped a ton in Chronopolis, but it's mostly because we haven't done anything recently. In recent time. Aside from that, like, that one day of merchant we did. Because I think we're as high as, like, almost top 20 at one point. And now we're like 71st. There's 2 reasons for that. A lot of people did Detective Rush before it got nerfed into the ground, into Oblivion. But the other reason was because Merchant just really quick. And we haven't gone particularly deep into it. But you can really see how few people actually go really wide, though. Because despite being 15th overall, our highest rank in any one chapter is only 28. Which means a lot of people are concentrating only on one chapter. Or at least more so than the amount of people widespreading. Like, it's a lot more common that people do a single chapter focus and then maybe widen out a little. Rather than start by going wide the whole time. I just realized this double coming up is probably going to be our last double. Because this double into one more single should be enough. I haven't been doing any cooking contracts during this. Probably should be. I was getting a lot better about doing them, and then I kind of stopped a little bit. Should probably go back to doing them again. We start to get a lot better EXP for them once we get to 208. I'm actually tempted at some time soonish to do a day where we push for 208 chef. Because that's not going to take that long at all. Like 5 hours tops. To do the 208 chef grind from wherever we're at. The problem with that is I have to have all the leaked pies already banked, but I believe I do. I have a few thousand in the bank right now. I would just need to go get the other supplies. Because honestly, the gameplay loop for it I actually kind of liked a lot. Like, you have to do a juggle for it, but it's a fun juggle. It's just one of those things that would benefit a lot from equipable potion, which is why I've been putting it off. There's a good chance we're finally getting them in the next few weeks. Not confirmed, but very likely. And I'd much rather wait until we have that mechanic before we do such a thing. There's a lot of things I'd much prefer waiting for that mechanic on. Because almost everything becomes better. But some things become more better than others. That being one of them. Merchant also being a really big one. Half a level to go. Let's see, 2 knowledge points, cover 320, so we need 1,000,000 XP. And we established earlier that we were getting 74 for 1,000,000 divided by that. We need 13 inventories after this one. I just realized if we need 13 more inventories, that means I think we actually get to do another double-double. Which is actually rather ironic, because pretty much the second we get to do another double is exactly when we would already have our level. Oh no. It's gonna work out that way though. Like our next double is almost here. But the next double after that double is pretty much right when we already have 220. Unless we go do our cooking contracts. I don't know, I haven't been in as much of a cooking contract mood today. I feel like some days I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do a ton of these, and then other days it's like, yeah, I am gonna ignore them the whole day. Pretty much. Today's one of those days. But if we don't get a new quest tomorrow, it's gonna feel weird heading back to the mines. We're gonna need to andesite all the way to 262, and then we can get to go to our real ore. The one we've been waiting on for like 2 months now. Technically 3 months. Even though we've been doing the venture for about 2.5 months, we've been needing that level for way longer than that time. That's just how long we had 231 mining. But pretty much all mining since like 220-ish has been like, okay, when are we finally going to get to there? Like pretty much everything since Carbonice. Because Carbonice isn't that good. Like pretty much everything since here, it's like, okay, when are we getting to 262? So we can go do a real ore. Oh yeah, that's something I haven't checked in a while. I wonder how the Anonymous wall is doing. The Wall of Anonymous. Hey, some of the Anonymous wall hasn't really moved much recently. I believe this one is Patricio. Which I'm not sure if he's doing anything beyond just checking Venture and Daily. And he's also been moving suspiciously less recently. He's still been moving. And slightly more than just Venture plus the thing. But not that much more. Like, it's been about a week and he moved like 12 levels. Yeah, it's weird how leaderboards work like that. Because I know when we were doing Gems of War, like some of the guilds that were like the biggest guilds in the entire game for like multiple years in a row, some of them are like 30th, 40th now. Despite at one point for multiple years being the biggest guild in the game. And single leaderboards work kind of like that too. Where they might be high for a very long amount of time, but then they kind of eventually burn out. I've been doing pretty good about kind of pacing myself, just so we never burn out. So one of the reasons why we've been doing a little bit shorter streams as well, is because we have been hitting a little bit of that grind wall until they actually had new content. But it's mostly just so we don't burn out. rather go a little bit slower and just keep going. Rather than trying to go like 16 hours a day every day and then it's like, we're gonna stop now. Try to do it more slow and steady. One mini objective at a time. Like tomorrow's goal, if there's no quest, is just get to andesite. I mean, not andesite, get to Flatniums. We'll be doing more mining than that because that's going to take no time at all. But our bare minimum achievable goal for tomorrow is get to 262 mining. Assuming there's no new quests. Which is exceedingly doable. I just realized something at this level range. If you really cared about XP, it is actually cheaper to buy a 10% pot for this entire grind and chug them the entire time. As every inventory, we use 1 potion. But every inventory, even at this level range, aka at 217 and higher, we are profiting, well, we're making 31.8 silver or whatever it was. Which means as long as a 10% potion for this chapter is cheaper than 31 silver, which it should be. I don't see any reason why it would be higher than that. That means you can actually buy and just chug 10% the entire grind and still be profiting. You'd be profiting less, but you'd still be profiting this entire time. At 217 puffer eel and further. If you really wanted to min-max your XP. Hey, that reminds me too. I'm not sure what we're using them for yet. And by not know what I'm using them for, I mean I'm using them on alchemy. But we still have like 1,008% for this chapter. They're in a weird in-between where they're kind of like a 5% where you chug them constantly. But I'm not sure what activity I wanted to chug them for. I was even considering it for the fishing grind just to speed it up. But realistically, it's only worth using on alchemy. I feel like 8% potions in general, even 6% or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you would use them on production skills only. When you want something better than a 5%. But don't quite want to drink a 10% or your 7% potent potion. It's like pretty much the main time you'd bring them out then. As while doing any super pricey production skill. And just chugging them the whole time. These are not quite worth using for a knowledge point. But they're so expensive to be using for, like, anything else. That it basically has to be for a production skill that you're losing money on. So in Chapter 1, that's things like alchemy. In Chapter 2, carpenter. Chapter 3, basically everything but mining. And Chapter 4, of course, leatherworker. Where you don't lose money during leatherworker, just a really slow skill to train. Alright, that reminds me too, when Stonewall Hill comes out, we're gonna have to rush to 200, aren't we? What 200 are we rushing? I just realized, basically we have to not sleep until we have a level 200. Are you guys ready for the 100-hour stream? Oh gosh, no, we're definitely not going to do that. It would be funny though. But technically, it's inefficient to sleep before you have a 200 for Stonewall Hill. The day that Stonewall Hill comes out. How long does it take to get a 200? Because I'm pretty sure that takes longer than 2 days. Especially if you want to make it like Armor Maker or something. The worst part is we're going to have like no knowledge on how the skills work either, or the gameplay loops. Obviously you can figure them out pretty quickly, but still. But you'd have to spend around 40 hours on a skill before it's efficient to sleep. We're definitely not doing that. We'll be doing the healthy thing and dividing it across 2 days. But technically the most efficient thing to do when Stonewall Hill comes out is immediately get a 200. So you can start AFKing that activity. The problem with that is it could take 40, 50 hours to get there. Which probably even more than that, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if you have to put all the knowledge points in there to get to the AFK activity as well. Which is probably close to 60 or 70 hours. The best one to do would be Delver. In the sense that it would be the quickest to do. Because assuming you're loaded on cash, you could just get a level 50 tool. Or multiple level 25 tools, or however you want to divide it up. And just do that because it would have better XP rate than the other ones. So I've gotten several comments so far mentioning this keep in particular. There's a couple things interesting about this cape. For one, it matches Cryonite really, really, really absurdly well. Now that it has like the Mines of Matubin symbol and everything. But the other thing is, the 500 version of this cape does not exist. So wearing the 200 one is like a weirder category compared to every other cape. As it's the only cape that's currently in the game that no one has. Is the 500 all Mines of Matubin cape. Even the 2000 combat cape is in the game. Like 2 people have it. And the 500 all for every other chapter has already been done. In many cases, multiple times over. The only 2 that have the least of is the 2000 combat cape only has 2 people. And the 500 all Hope Forest only has 3 people. But Mines of Matubin one has 0. Actually, we're like months away from the first person even getting it. Because the closest person is 343 levels away. Which is like a month and a half at the earliest. Oh, we were doing the math earlier. We only have 5 more inventories to go. We're nearly there. 5 more inventories of fish, and that'll be level 2020. I mean, 220, I mean. Is likely going to be our stop point for now. Then we'll grab dinner, and then I'll just AFK Puffer Eel. Or more so, just Puffer. I'll still be selling them, though. Wait, where's the third fish? I thought it was a stack of 3. That's why you always use the sense bar. But honestly, this cape has grown on me to be one of my favorite in the game. The different colored symbol made it a lot better. The other one that really improved a lot is the Hope Forest 200 and 500 all one. That cape honestly got a better improvement than this one. But it only really works if you're a Guardian. Because then it matches the symbol above your head as well. Hammer Mage didn't really get one after the update. Because the one for 200 all and 500 all Hope Port doesn't really quite look like it fits. Maybe the Stonewall Hill one will fit in a little bit better. We just don't really know what the Stonewall Hills cape's going to look like. Because we don't know if they're just going to be using the old combat cape because they already had it made, or if they're going to make a completely new one for it. Chapter 6 and onward should definitely be a new one for it every time. But we don't know for sure if Chapter 5 is just going to be a reused combat cape that they already made like several months ago. That was originally going to be for Shieldbreaker, but is instead going to be used for the milestones for Stonewall Hill. Oh, we got the private server room. Wait, the room filled? Really? I was saying earlier, like, every single person in the entire game is in the same server because of how it does it. But they actually filled up the puffer room. Where is everyone? Because I assure you, there's not 0 people in here. There's actually so many people that it put us in the overflow room. There we go. Yeah, crowded room today. Crowd enough to bring us to a new server. Don't really see that too often in the current state of the game. But there are room limits. It just his room limit's really high. I think it's like 15 or 20. Actually, maybe it's only 10. Alright, that would explain why we capped it. Yeah, it looks like it's a 10 room limit. Or 10 player limit for the room. It used to be higher, but they ended up lowering it. Like, Eel Street used to be like 20 something. And they lowered this one to like 10 or 15. They used to be way higher, but they had an overcrowding problem. Where you could barely even see the fish because there's so many people in the room. Up next inventory will be enough. Oh, is that something I never had before? I'm not sure if I ever would want to have it. I have never eaten pufferfish. Obviously something you would never prep yourself for obvious reasons. They're highly poisonous. I've had a lot of seafood though. That is one of a few things I've never had. I tend to prefer like crustaceans though. Not like oysters or anything, but more so like crab, lobster, stuff like that. And the more standard fish like tuna, salmon. Which I just had salmon last night actually. There's one thing that is kind of awkward about the sense spell. When you don't use it, you can actually see if something is stacked on another object. When you use the sense spell, you actually can't. Because the main indicator is that it's glowing. But the sense spell makes everything glowing. So it's kind of hard to tell unless you see like this slight difference in the silhouette or something. Oh, this is our level. We did it. It has been done. We still got to get to 226 later, but that'll be done off stream. But the 220 goal has been achieved. Well, you know what that means tomorrow. We're doing one of two things tomorrow. We're either doing everything related to the new quest, which I'll probably be saying like literally every day until it happens. But we're either going to be doing everything related to the new quest, or we are going to be doing, finally, the Mind of Matubin grind. Bare minimum tomorrow is we get to Flatiniums and start doing some amount of Flatinium. As our bare minimum is 262 mining tomorrow from 258.5. Beyond that, we'll also be able to run the Oyster Venture for the first time ever. As I will run these one more time tonight, but then tomorrow when we go set our new adventure, we'll set up the 24-hour Oyster, which of course is the whole thing that we grinded for the last pretty much 2 days, as well as the rest of today going into tomorrow. As we will have 226 Fisher by then, which allows us to go use our level 25 Oyster Net to go start getting our oysters, and I'll be doubling them as well. We'll be making both my 2 ventures into fishing then. And then beyond that, yeah, probably lots of Mind of Matubin. I want to try getting a lot of Flatiniums before Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out later this year. I mean, later this month. So that when we do go and play that game, we'll be able to basically run Flatiniums. And in every Brighter Shore stream that we do across that week, we'll be basically upkeep on what we've been doing, or possibly even mining more Flatiniums. So we can keep it going. Who knows, maybe we even get to Adithro in that time, I have no clue. But over the next 2 weeks, particularly next week, probably doing a lot of Flatinium mining. Like a lot. Like honestly, we might be going to Adithro in the next like week and a half. Because I want to bank every single one of these that we're going to be needing. And even once we get granite, I'm probably still doing Flatinium. I'll be doing Flatinium into a little bit of granite. Like, assuming we have equipable potion by then, fingers crossed, hopefully. We're going to be doing 20 Flatinium into 4 granite. I just keep doing that over and over and over again. Once we get to that level range. Up to 262 to 278, we just grab, we just do a Flatinium juggle. But after we get to 278, we can start doing, this 24 method. 20 of these, 4 of these. Or otherwise we'll have to do 26, where we'll do drop 20, drop 20, drop 20, juggle them a little, and then bring them back, so we only have to do 5 inventories instead of 6. I also want to double check what the XP rate is when we do that, because the wiki number is very, very wrong. Because it assumes you're doing 24 at a time, which is really slow. It doesn't assume that you're banking them 24 at a time. I mean, it doesn't assume that you're mining them 10 at a time while banking them 24 at a time. I believe the wiki assumes a number that you're doing 24 and then banking, then mining 24 and then banking, which is really slow. Which is why their numbers are a little bit skewed downwards from where it actually should be. Well, I'll double check to see what the actual XP rate is. I'm not sure if we're going to try to figure it out tomorrow. We might. Because we're going to get to it anyways. We might as well figure out what the XP rate is so we know for the upcoming grind. So we can do some math on about how long it'll take and everything else like that. Alright, also, by the way, this off streams is pretty much all we'll be doing on Steam Deck. Only difference is we'll be using the mini-map to move. But everything else will just be like, click every single fish in the entire room. And then wait. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful week. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, new quest tomorrow. Let me go double check. The community manager was mentioning something about leaks. However, he has not mentioned anything other than leaking a leak. Quite literally. But he has not actually leaked any info on a new quest yet. Just that he might be soon. Which is probably do quest info once he does. But anyways, guys, yeah, no new info then. Let me just double check the Reddit in case it was posted somewhere else. Let me see. That's not what I wanted. Nope. I am not seeing any. Nope. Alright, yeah, from what I can tell, yeah. No new info yet, but hopefully, fingers crossed. New quest tomorrow, who knows now. But how quiet they've been, maybe not, but I don't know. Wouldn't be the first time they just drop big things out of nowhere. But anyways, guys, wanted to hear for now. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching. Oh, yeah, by the way, on the final poll, which venture in Brighter Shores do you run the most? After 14 votes, we have 43% for Merchant, Detective with a singular vote at 7%, Mining at 29%, and Fishing at 21%. Interesting. I'm actually surprised Merchant is so popular. There's a couple of reasons likely for this. For one, it has the lowest requirement out of any venture, only requiring 21 in the skill to start, which is by far the lowest out of any skill in the entire game. It has the lowest requirement to get started on it. And it was also my first venture when I started the game. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot of people's first venture, like how they even figure out about it, is you get access to it really early compared to the average skill, compared to fishing where you get access to it at like 39, or compared to mining where it's locked behind a quest and you need 31 mining. It's by far the lowest requirement out of any venture in the game. So that would make sense. But honestly, the reward for it is not the greatest. Bricks and tiles probably will be, but we don't know what they're used for, so it's more so speculation on if they're good or not. But yeah, a lot of the actual alchemy supplies that you get from them, they're not really good until post 200. And the biggest issue with that is you don't get them until way deep, like 393 and 457. Like, we're talking, like, numbers where you're pretty much already max. A lot of the ones before that just aren't that good. Like, the grape one here, honestly, not too good. We did do it some, but it's not worth doing. The cinnamon sticks down here, wherever they are, I'm not sure where they are, but summers we already passed. But the cinnamon sticks aren't particularly good. Because this is used for the 5% pot. The cinnamon sticks, I believe, next up was... Actually, was that 7%? Maybe that one is worth a little bit more. I can't remember if it was this grape or the other thing that's used for 7%. I think the cinnamon sticks were for 6%, though. And these grapes were for the other one? I'm not sure, actually. But whatever it is, they're not that good. Oh, there it is. The cinnamon stick. Okay, the cinnamon sticks is for 7%. Okay, so the first grape is for the 5%. The second grape is for the 6%. And then the cinnamon stick is for the 7%. Alright, so that cinnamon stick is like the only one maybe worth it then. Because that's used for the 7% pot, I'm pretty sure then. Alright, that makes sense. So the grapes are for the smaller ones and the cinnamon sticks are for the bigger one then. We can kind of see that the other way around. Okay, yeah, that is the case. So yeah, these cinnamon sticks are for the 10%. Those are for the 8%. Alright, it all makes sense now. But, yeah, that's like the first venture that is maybe worth it, not counting brick and tile, which currently you can't do until quests or something unlock it. This is like the first merchant venture that's like kind of worth it. Because there's a level range where those are actually really good to be making that I actually made very few of. Because they're really expensive to buy from the shop. Because I didn't already have them from the venture. So I would say that's like the first venture that is like really, really good to go do for them. It's not a post 200 venture, so you don't get a like absurdly good XP rate. But it's the first one that's not like horrific for it. But anyways, guys, hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for stopping by.